Welcome in. Rachel T, hello. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Just starting up. So we're switching things up a little bit. And here to do more talks with believers. And let's see if someone can convert me today. Yeah, we have a lot of friends on. That's cool. Poke Gurumi, good to see you. Yep, here for more conversations, more clip farming. And I gotta say, the comments above my head are fire. Just reviewing the recordings, and chat's comments are just like perfect. Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you get Poke? Did you get my DM? I sent you a DM. I don't know, like last week. Yeah, I'll Venmo you the money, and I'll send you a label. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, I definitely want that Bigfoot book. So yeah, okay, no worries. Maybe I might have DM'd the wrong person. But yeah, I definitely want that Bigfoot book, and I will display it proudly. Wait, but why? Because it's the Secrets of Bigfoot book from the dollar store. I mean, can't pass that up. You got to go with that, right? It's a must-have. Good evening. Why am I an atheist? Lots of reasons why, but the biggest reason is insufficient evidence to demonstrate that any gods exist. More agnostic. I'm an agnostic atheist. More non-resistant non-believer. So I could be convinced. Well, not just believe in science. We know science is reliable. We have plenty of evidence for that. Plenty of past history. Arab women, enough said. All right. And there's Pseudo V Science. Welcome. Good to see you. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to, oh, Reckless Religion, thank you. Alan Gibson, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Oh, yeah, Reckless Religion, my Charlie Clank, good to see you. Oh, I got to take this call. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to take that call. All right. Okay. Uh, 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Scooty Scoot. Good to see you. Sarai Egyptian. Good to see you. Okay. Well, I'm no longer muted, and yeah, had to handle some personal business here, so had to take care of that. Blaster Master 80. Good to see you. Hello. So happy Thursday, everybody. So yeah, let's hear some evidence that God is real. So looks like we have somebody in the queue already. Let's see who's in there. My multi-guest button, I have to click it like 30. Oh, wait. Like it came up. All right. So we got a friend who's in the queue. Hello, how you doing?
I heard my name twice and the blender was going, and I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck did he say?
I said hi. I said hi, and I said thanks for the thanks for the gifts.
Okay, because I was like, wait, what did I miss? Because my stupid blender wouldn't shut the fuck up when I told it to stop.
Yeah. No, that's all.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because I was like,
no worries.
maybe it's my
no
phone.
Worries. No worries
Just
at all.
one of those days today.
Yeah, we got it straightened out. So no worries.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, do your thing, and I'll
I
drop
will.
down.
Okay, we'll see you later.
All right. Yep.
All right. I think I'm going to do one-on-ones today. And but yeah, what's your best evidence that God is real? Now, Jesus loves us. That's a claim. So we need evidence. It's not evidence. Of course I would, Kung Fu couple. That would be silly to not believe after having seen sufficient evidence. Of course I would. Hey, stream, Darth Gently. Good to see you. So yeah, again, I'm really loving chat because, again, the comments during the times with callers is just fire. They're hilarious. They're amazing. So keep them coming. Yeah, I posted a video this morning or today, and yeah, it was just the comments behind me are just hilarious. God's plan spanning generations. Yeah, W chat, exactly. W chat. Yeah, that's another claim, Pure Warrior. How do we know that there's a plan? Look at today's events that mirror events in the Bible. No, don't see that. And we have other religions claim prophecies too, so that means every other religion is true. And also, Pure Warrior, if you're a Christian, it's not your job to refer me to a book. It's your job to come up and minister to me according to Matthew 28 verses 19 and 20, and Peter 1 verses 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15. So it doesn't say to refer me to a book. It says, go and make disciples of all the nations and teach them how to obey my commands. So You can't be a lazy Christian. You have to come up here and talk to me. How much evidence would be enough to convince you? No idea. But I've heard a lot of evidence so far and haven't been convinced. Megan Griffith. So that means your experience based on your period. Yeah. Can I be a lazy atheist today? Yes, you can. Well, if you went to hell, a lot of other people in other religions went to hell. So that means every religion is true, Megan. The personal experience isn't much evidence. So yeah, let's share the live. Let's share it with friends. Now, if you don't feel confident coming up as a believer, that's okay. If you don't feel confident coming up, then share it with your friends. Maybe one of your friends can come up and try to convert me. Nope, not so, Kung Fu Couple. You gotta look up the definition of atheist. That's not what it says. And atheism. Jesus is the way, truth, and life. That's a claim, not evidence. So just a statement. Because it says in the Quran, there is no God but Allah. So if we're going to use that kind of evidence, Megan, then you should be a Muslim. Aren't atheists a little bored with believing nothing? Maybe anime or D&D. No, not bored. Actually, my life is much more enriched. Why would you risk going to hell by denying him? Who says there's a hell? You have to demonstrate there's a hell, Megan. Did you bring back something from hell? The number of people that don't know what atheism means is frustrating. Yeah. Jesus died for our sins. Again, another claim. No evidence of that. So we're just stacking claim upon claim upon claim. And it also says in the Quran that if you don't worship Allah, you're going to burn eternally in hellfire. So Megan, why are you risking burning eternally in hellfire for not worshiping Allah? Also, Kalam cosmological argument. Well, that was great when we didn't know about the universe, but we know a lot more about the universe. So how's that evidence? So God doesn't exist is not a claim. It is, but that's not my claim, Gustavo. Who said it was my claim? Only demons spread doubt in others. Another claim. So I'm just seeing claims so far. No evidence. You guys know what evidence is, right? Who can define evidence for me? You need to stop comparing religions. Why? When Satan, so that's another claim, Megan. Yet another claim. And also it says in the Quran that jinn trick you. Also, it says in Hinduism, Megan, that this world is a Maya. It's a delusion. So they would say you are delusioned. So, Megan, how would you demonstrate to a Hindu that you're not disillusioned? You're not living under a delusion. Oh, I do plenty of research. I do research every day, Megan. And if you come up and talk to me, you would find out just how much research I do. You have no idea. An atheist is a person who does not believe in the existence of any gods or deities. Is this correct? That is correct. So there is no claim that no gods exist there. So you are defending a claim made by others. Who said I was? Where is this? Where do you see this, Gustavo? Why are people putting words in my mouth and people are just giving me claims? Have you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation? Yep, over at least a dozen times, Jesus' disciple. And I read it every day, preparing for this live. What's up, Kill Kizai? If one thing is objectively morally wrong, God exists. Interesting. Just one thing? Because I can think of a lot of things that are objectively morally wrong. I'm an objective moral realist. Yep, no praying without permission. No prapists, Mark Davenport. We don't want prapists in the chat. Then you're not under, it's why are you apostrophe RE. You're not understanding what you research. Well, then teach me. See, Megan, you haven't read the Bible, have you, Megan? Because it says in Matthew 28, verse 19 and 20, to go and make disciples of all the nations and teach them to obey my commands. So come up and teach me. But then again, according to 1 Timothy, you were to stay silent and submissive. So I don't even know why you're talking to me. So I should probably mute you just so that you stay in line with what your God commands. Your God, Megan, your God commands you to be silent and submissive. And if you have any questions, to defer to your husband. Do I believe in objective truth? Of course. Truth is objective. That's kind of redundant. Truth is truth and it's objective. So nobody has any evidence, huh? You read the Bible to prove it wrong. Nope. I was a Christian for over 30 years. I was going to go into the seminary. So at first I read the Bible to understand my God better. And so that's just it. See, here's the thing. What's wild to me is that when I come across a Christian who has read the Bible and is still a Christian, that's what's wild to me, because that's like a high level of denial. Like just amazing levels of denial. What made you change to atheism? Because the Bible's not true. Most are saved under preaching. Then come save me. I'm right here. No, it's not preaching, it's ministering. Go and make disciples of all the nations. That's what ministering is. We got a repeat person. Golden Kids, you've been up here before. I can't remember what we talked about, but let's bring you up again. How come my damn button isn't working? That's another claim, Megan. You have to give evidence. You have to demonstrate that there is a Satan that exists. All right, let's see what Golden Kids has to say. I can't remember what we talked about. Well, we talked a while ago. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, not much. Yeah, I remember we talked a while ago. I can't remember what about. I long stopped taking notes.
Me neither.
Yeah. All right. Well, now you're a Christian, right?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your best evidence that God is real?
Well, so I was going to show you basically through one question. So do you believe that personal experience? Well, personal experience is my answer, by the way. But do you believe that personal experience is a good enough basis to believe for one to have faith in God?
No, because then you would have to discount the personal experience of every other person in every other religion. So you'd have to explain to me why, like a Hindu's personal experience, a Muslim, a Norse pagan, a Wiccan, a believer in the Greek gods, a Sikh, a Zoroastrian, why all of their experiences are false and yours are true.
Not necessarily.
Why not?
Because there is a such thing as deception.
Deception? Okay. Right. So how do you know that they're deceived and you're not?
So that's not the question I'm posing. The question I'm
posing
is,
I know. That's why you said would experience be sufficient, and I'm going through it with you. Like that's why I'm asking you, how would you demonstrate that you're not? Because, like, for example, the Hindus say that the Maya would be pulled over your eyes. You know what the Maya is? It's deception. Like the world's deceiving you. So how would you demonstrate that you're not deceived to a Hindu?
Well, you have to look at the fruits of what that experience is gardening for them, because but anyways, the real question I'm asking, or the real question I'm posing, is, can you quantify the quality of anything?
Quantify qualia of anything? What the fuck does that mean?
Are you privy to Google right now?
Am I privy to Google? Yeah.
Can we just look up quantify and qualia?
Sure. Quantifying qualia. All right. I'm not sure how it's translating subjective first-person experiences into objective measurable data. So it's So it's translating subjective first-person experiences into objective, measurable data. All right. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
so
how
let's
this.
look up what qualia means by itself,
Okay.
not together. That's not what I was meaning.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how this demonstrates that your God is real, though. But we'll
Yeah,
define
but if you
qualia.
can't quantify the quality of anything, of one thing,
The internal and
yeah,
subjective component of sense perceptions arising from stimulation of the senses by phenomena. Okay.
mhm.
So if you can't objectify any type of
Yeah,
senses,
so
sensory
yeah,
information, then
so you can't quantify
okay,
anything
then
as far
you're
as your personal experience goes,
oh,
right?
then why believe in a God then?
So the simple
If you
fact
can't
is, you
quantify
make
anything.
decisions based off of your personal experiences. You interact with the opposite sex
Not every
based on.
time.
Pretty sure your personal experiences are the fundamental basis of how and why you act.
Okay. So then that means then that you can't believe in a God. You've just completely blown up your own argument. So you can't
What do you
believe in a
mean?
God because if you can't, because you're doing it off a subjective experience too.
You have to believe in order to live. Like you don't
What do you mean?
understand what I'm saying.
You have to
Everything
believe in
you
order
do
to
is
leave. What
based
does that
off of
mean?
belief. Everything you do is based off of belief. It's not based off of something
Okay.
you can quantify in a laboratory.
Okay. And so how does that demonstrate your God is real?
My question was, is belief or is personal experience a good enough reason for someone to have faith in God?
And what was my
You
answer?
said no. You said no, but the answer is
Because
actually yes.
no,
Everything we do is based
because
fundamentally on
why?
our personal experience.
Because why? What did I say why?
I don't know. You have to
You
reiterate
didn't
that.
listen. Okay, you didn't listen to me. Okay. So what I said was you would have to demonstrate that everybody's religious experiences that don't line up with yours are false. And how do you do that?
So, a person who becomes a murderer
That's a pivot. Can you answer my question?
is actually a comparison.
Okay. Well, so
So
how do you demonstrate that a Hindu's experience is not true?
I never said it isn't. It says true to them.
Are you you're a Christian, right? You're a Christian? You're not a Hindu.
Let every man be fully convinced in his own mind, right?
Wait, hold on. You're not a Hindu, right?
Hmm?
You're not a Hindu, right?
I'm a Christian. I mean,
Why aren't you a Hindu? Well, I mean, if you had a Hindu experience, would you become a Hindu?
Because I had a personal experience with the living God. That's why I'm
Okay,
a Christian.
but if you had a personal experience with the Hindu gods, would you become a Hindu?
There is no other God beside the living God.
But how do you know that?
Because of my experience.
But you just said that your experience, you can't quantify it. So that's what I'm trying to understand. If you can't objectify it.
Yeah, it's nothing that
Okay.
I can prove to you in any amount of words.
Okay, what are we doing here then? Okay, so you don't have any evidence then.
You're a walking contradiction. You live your life based on faith.
Okay, that's not what.
That you live your life in a scientific fashion.
Hold on, God. Hold on, Golden Kids. Does it say up here, test me to see if I'm a walking contradiction, or does it say what is your best evidence that God is real? What does it say up there?
The best evidence that God is real is personal experience.
Is personal experience, and again I'm asking you, how do you distinguish that your personal experience is true?
We have more Christians in the world than any other religion. That's
so argumentum ad populum fallacy. That's your go-to.
No, we are living in the year 2026.
Okay. So what? So when? Okay. So when Rome? When the Rome? Okay. So hold on. So when the Egyptian religion was okay. Are you gonna stop talking over me or what? So my question to you is: so when the Egyptian religion was the most popular at the time, was that the true religion?
What?
Well,
How are,
that
you
at one
just said
time,
that
the ancient Egyptian religion was the most popular religion. The most people in the world believed in the ancient Egyptian gods. So are we saying that that was a true religion at the time?
no.
Okay. So when Islam eventually overtakes you, are you going to be a Muslim? Are you going to convert to
No,
Islam?
truth is something that resonates with personal experience,
Okay,
right?
you're pivoting again. I'm asking you about your argumentum ad
Rest is
populum
about
fallacy. You presented that the Christianity is the most popular religion in the world, and you're trying to pivot to something else. So my question to you is, how soon will you convert to Islam when, because it's going to overtake Christianity, when Islam overtakes Christianity? Okay, bro, why are you talking over me? Okay.
said that you're an
All right,
atheist.
bro, you're on probation now because you keep trying to talk over me. So, all right. So I'm just going to ask questions and then you're just going to answer them. And that's it. All right. And that's when you can unmute because you keep trying to talk over me. I don't remember this being this bad before. I'm not sure. Was it this bad before? Not sure. But it's bad now. So my question to you is, and you can unmute after I'm done speaking, and then you go right back on mute. My question to you is, how soon will you convert to Islam when Islam overtakes Christianity as the most popular religion in the world? Because it's going to. All right, you can unmute now.
Can you repeat that? Give me 1 second. I'm listening though.
All right. Okay, my question to you is, how soon will you convert to Islam when Islam overtakes Christianity as the most popular religion in the world?
It's not about popularity, sir. It's about
Okay.
my personal experience, like I've told you.
All right. Thank you. So then why did you say Christianity is the most popular religion in the world? Okay, you can unmute.
Because it is.
Okay. And what does that have to do with what you're saying?
Reason for it. Why does it resonate so deeply with so many people's experiences as the truth?
Okay. My question to you is, why is it relevant to what you're saying?
I just answered it.
Well, no, you answered with a question. So my question is, why is it relevant to what you're saying?
Let me rephrase it. Because it resonates so deeply with so many people that it is the truth.
Okay, so that's the argumentum ad populum again. So that's a circular argument. Christianity is the most popular religion in the world because it resonates with so many people. That's definitely, here, I'll illustrate for you. So your argument was Christianity is the most popular religion in the world, and the reason why is because it resonates with so many people. That's a circular argument.
You don't interact with your children the way that you do if you have children because you were taught how to do it, right? You can base the way that the affections that you feel for your children, you can say that the next man has the same affections and the same,
Where is this? Where are we going now? What is this?
basically what I'm saying
You've
is that
lost
the
me.
truth resonates based on something that we all experience but can't quantify. And it is an underlying factor that is resounding in all of humanity,
Okay.
right?
Mhm. Okay, I hear you. So now what about the people who don't experience anything?
Well, maybe you have to question as to why. There's a lot of
Okay.
reasons why things are the way they are.
Okay, so then it's true then. If people don't experience anything, then there's nothing to experience, right? Because there's approximately 50 million atheists in the United States. None of them, most all of them, experience nothing. So I'm trying to understand, if that's the case, then that must be true.
Because like I just brought to you, you say that everything you do is based off science, and I showed you that it's
That's
not.
not what I said. When did I say that? When did I say everything was based off science? When did I say that? You might be recalling a conversation with somebody else, but that's definitely not what I said.
What do you say?
I said, I'm asking you, when did I say that everything is based off science? Because I said you might be recalling a conversation with someone else that you had, but I definitely didn't say. I've never said that.
Well, that's what atheists primarily believe, that
Okay.
they're anti-theists, so they
I just told you that's not what I said, and I've never ever said
that.
that, and that's not what I believe. So let's not argue with other atheists. Let's focus on me. You and I are having a conversation. Hey, if you want somebody else to come up, hit the live goals. You've got your instructions right above my head. So you got a jellyfish. You got hit the live goal. You got ways to switch them out. So it's up to you, chat. I control the process. You control the outcome. But I'm gonna talk to the guest as long as he is cordial, which he is being mostly, and he doesn't insult me or anything like that. He's being very cordial and
What's
and
my
all that.
best evidence for a guy outside of that, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk about the law of conservation of energy. What does that law mean to you?
The law of conservation of energy is energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And so how does that demonstrate God is real?
So is it fair to say that everything that exists in the universe must have always existed in the universe?
Not everything, no. Because I can tell you my phone didn't always exist. Oh, there's the jellyfish. Hey, you got the jellyfish, my friend. So try another day. But I gotta let you go. But have a good one.
Not everything, then you're saying that.
All right. Sorry, I had to let you go. You got jellyfished. So whoever sent the jellyfish, there it is. Satanist Sailor with the jellyfish. Now, thank you for the gift. But hey, it happens, man. Yeah, I remember talking to Golden Kids a long time ago. I don't remember exactly the scope of the conversation. I don't remember how it went. But, that's how it goes. All right. So, guess who are in the queue? If you are in the queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and please have evidence that God is real. On to the next one. How's it going?
Hey, did you want to fix your? Yeah, you can go ahead.
I keep forgetting to ask. Okay, just for TikTok purposes, how old are you? And then also, what are your pronouns?
Pronouns, bro. I'm 30, and
okay.
There's two genders. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Well, that's okay. Well, that's your opinion on genders, but I'm asking what your pronouns are.
I don't subscribe to that. Like, I'm a man, right?
Okay, you're irrelevant. A man. That's great. So you don't use pronouns?
No, not in the capacity that they've been exaggerated to.
Okay, so Soli won't use any pronouns. All right then. So no pronouns for Soli. All right. So you're 30, semantics. No pronouns, and what's your best evidence that God is real?
I mean, I would piggyback off of the last guy. Although I would first have to ask you if you do subscribe to natural law.
Okay, why don't you answer the question first? What's your best evidence that God is real? It doesn't say up there, ask me a question, does it? So we need to have some reading comprehension skills. So let's deploy that. What's your best evidence that God is real?
Appeal to ad hominem. I love that.
That's not appeal to ad hominem. I said let's use our reading comprehension skills. I'm assuming you have reading comprehension skills. Was that a wrong assumption? Was it so am I insulting you by saying that you don't have reading comprehension skills? Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna just answer your question a little bit more directly.
Great.
I was gonna give you the opportunity to fix your boxes changed. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. But that's okay if it is.
Fix my what?
Like on my screen, it has it like 9 boxes, and you don't have a big box anymore. So I was gonna give you the opportunity to change that if you so wanted to.
My big box. I'm not tracking what you're saying.
Your screen is not in a big box for what I can assume is probably the entire audience. Unless, I don't know, somebody in the comments said it looks fine to them. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. That's okay.
Okay. All right.
I just wanted to point that out to you in case you might have missed it.
Oh, appreciate that.
Natural law, which is of course law that is observable. It's not something that has to be interfered by man. Like the laws of thermodynamics, for example. Energy
Mhm.
cannot be created or destroyed. Therefore, in order for us to have energy, something beyond natural law, otherwise, in other words, supernatural, would have had to provide it. And the second law of thermodynamics, which is that as entropy increases, disorder and usable energy, entropy is disorder for anybody who's not familiar. As disorder increases, usable energy decreases, meaning that energy had to come from a beginning place. It had to begin somewhere. It cannot have always existed. So having those two natural laws that cannot be, you can't just overlook that they exist. That would be proof of an intelligent designer.
And hold on, that's a huge leap. So hold on, let me help me understand this. So because of entropy, there had to be an intelligent designer. Did I hear that right?
That's a short summary. Because of entropy, the energy that we have had to have a beginning point. So you cannot claim that it had always been here. It had to be from a beginning. Entropy demands a beginning, right?
Uh-huh.
And because energy cannot be created or destroyed, it had to begin somewhere, meaning it had to be created. That proves that there is an intelligent designer.
Okay. Well, how come astrophysicists haven't concluded this?
Are you an astrophysicist? Am I an astrophysicist? Why are we appealing
That's
to
not the question. That's not the
Well,
question.
why are
My
we,
question
I love
is
how you, okay.
okay. The question is solely okay. Oh, hold on a second. Let's we're gonna shift a little bit because you're a Christian, right?
No.
No, you're not.
Nope.
Okay. So
Why did you deflect away from that after?
All right. So this is what I said. Okay. So please have some fucking boundaries, people. I said if you're a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you're at least 18, request up. So what is so hard about that, Soli? I said I only want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Why the fuck are you up in my guest box? All right. Hang on. I got a call I got to take. Hang on a second. All right. Hesitate. Thanks for waiting. So
No
appreciate you.
worries.
All right. First
Hey,
of all, how old are you and what are your pronouns?
29 and he and him.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. And looks like you're a Christian. I see a little cross in your name.
Yeah, I am
Is that
Christian.
about right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your best evidence that God is real?
I can piggyback off of them. They were going for the fine-tuning universe theory,
Mhm.
right? Are you familiar with that theory at all? I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, which just means gravity, electromagnetic force,
Mhm.
expansion rates. These are, pretty insanely precise, and you can come up to one or two conclusions, right? It's either extreme coincidence, which is some physicists say it's 1 to the 10th to the 120th power.
Okay.
Stephen Hawking's had a book on this, or it's intentional design. Now, I mean, you can do the math.
Why is
on
it
that
only
one,
those
1
two
to the
things?
10th.
Why is it only those
Well,
two things?
what would the third option be then?
Well, I don't know,
Give
but
me.
how did you rule out all the other possibilities?
Well, so the coincidence, you can fit everything into coincidence. No, you can say, oh, all the rest are coincidental. That's
Sure.
why everything.
you
That's why
could.
everything happened. That's why everything happened per chance
Right.
because of this unique event that
Okay.
happened in quote unquote the Big Bang.
How did you? Well, like
Now,
for example, it could
go
be
ahead.
brute fact. How did you rule out brute fact?
What's the kind of help me on the fact part here?
Brute fact that that's just these constants are what they are. We don't know why, they just are what they are. It's a brute fact. How did you rule that out?
Well, okay, that's a fair point. Here's I guess my only rebuttal to that is you're saying that this started from nothing in some sort of way
That's
because
not
of
what
the
I'm
brute
asking.
fact.
No, it's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you, how did you
Okay,
rule it out? How did you
well,
remove it
I
from
said
the
it's
list of possibilities?
I said it's either or because you can still
Sure.
consider that extreme coincidence.
How
I
so?
did say either or
I said
because you're saying
I said it's brute fact. We don't know why. It just is what it is. It's not. I didn't say it was coincidence. I said it just is what it is. These are just brute facts. These are the constants. It just is what it is. How did you rule that out?
well, I would consider that a coincidence because we're here by chance. We're
But
here
how do you
by
know it's
all.
how do you know it's a coincidence though? Like it's
Well,
just a brute
you,
fact of the universe. It just is.
okay, but then you're ruling out that it
That's
happened 1 out of 10 to the 120th power. So
well,
that's a pretty crazy brute. I'd say that's a really interesting
okay.
brute fact.
But why? But why is it ruled out though? What
I don't.
what
I don't.
method
I
did
wouldn't
you
say.
use to rule it out? Like,
I wouldn't say. I
did you
wouldn't say
dismiss it?
it's rule. I wouldn't say it's. I think it's a fair argument. I just don't think it's. I would say that I was just piggybacking off of them. I would say
Oh
the
yeah, I
other
know.
one would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just asking
I
you to take me through your method of how you said it's not brute fact. It's either these
I would just.
two, and it can't be anything else. Like another possibility is that the constants were something else, and then they changed to the constants that we know. Like, how did you rule
Okay.
that out?
Well, can you elaborate?
Well, it could be. I'm just thinking of possibilities. Like, how did you rule out that the constants were different, and then the constants changed somehow? Like, how did you rule that out?
What constants could have changed?
Planck's constant. Yeah, just gravity. Just whatever you
Well,
consider to be a constant.
I think that's so fine tuned though. You can't. If it was just a fraction off, life wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah,
Well, life
but
here wouldn't be. I mean, that's extreme
well,
coincidence.
life hasn't always been a thing, right? Especially on this planet.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
I
So
yeah,
what if
agreed.
it changed? That's what I'm asking. What if it changed and then life became possible? You see what I mean?
Sure. Sure. No,
Yeah. So
I agree. I agree to that standpoint. I just
okay.
think it's too much of a mere, like it's kind of too far outline for me to sit here and say that's a brute fact that we know for sure.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not saying it is. I'm thinking
You're just saying
I'm just
why
throwing
I
out.
ruled it out.
Yeah, because you said it's down to two things. And then I asked, well, how did you rule out the other possibilities? You said, well, what are the other possibilities? I didn't think of any at that moment, but then two just popped in my head. And that's why I'm asking you, how did you rule those out? Those are two possibilities, and which you agreed to. You said, yeah, it's
Sure.
possible.
Yeah. I think it's under the umbrella of coincidence, of brute fact. That's what I mean. It's
How
either,
so, though?
I mean, because it's a you're saying that 1 to the 10th of 100 and x power of us being here and life existing is a brute fact. I think those odds, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning 100 times.
But you haven't demonstrated that it's a coincidence, though. You're just saying it is, but why is it a coincidence?
A coincidence that we're here.
That it's a brute fact. Yeah, because you're saying, well, that counts under coincidence, but how? How does it count under coincidence?
The fact that well, either,
I mean, it could be. I could grant that it could be a brute fact that is a coincidence. It could be a coincidence, but that doesn't mean it is. That doesn't mean it automatically is. That's why I'm asking you, how is it automatically a coincidence? That's what I'm asking you.
Gotcha. I just think it's more of, what I believe is, right, I don't really believe in the Big Bang, right? Because something outside of space and time that is too higher of my understanding, because I'll never understand God as a Christian. It's just my human head wouldn't wrap around it. I believe that something outside of space-time that is omniscient and omnipotent created this, all of it, from the universe to the stars.
It's outside of space and time. Okay.
Correct.
How do you believe that without falling into special pleading?
Help me out.
Well, you know what special pleading is, right?
No,
it's carving out an exception for God, basically. Like everything applies to this except God. So God is the exception, right? So everything everything we know operates within space and time. So how does God operate outside of space and time?
As in what? Like, how does he operate outside of space and time?
God's a being, right?
He's he's above obviously physical and I would say spiritual, right?
Does God have mass?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure in heaven he does have some sort of mass.
Some sort of mass, right? So everything we know, mass occupies space. So without space, you can't have mass. So how does God operate if he's mass? How does he operate how does he exist outside of space if he has mass? Because that doesn't make sense.
You're limiting my God. You're saying,
okay, so that's special pleading. That's a special pleading fallacy.
Gotcha. I get you. I just think you're trying to limit something that is.
Well, that's what we know. What else? What else is there besides God that we know operates, that has mass and doesn't occupy any space? Like, what else is there?
I just think you're thinking of terms of inside of space, but I'm saying my God operates outside of space and time,
right?
As we know it.
Right. So you're saying he operates outside of space, and that's what I'm saying, or he exists outside of space. I think that's the better way to put it, right? He exists outside of space. So that's what I'm trying to understand. If everything that we know operates within the laws of physics, and except for this God, then how do we know that he operates or that he exists outside of space? How do you know that?
Because he's omnipotent.
Because he's omnipotent.
Yeah, correct. He's omniscient. Correct.
He's omniscient and he's omnipotent, and so that means that he exists outside of space and time. I'm not sure how that.
Correct. Because because if he knows past, present, future events, that's you can't say my limiting God can only just be in one space. He can be in multiple spaces all at once. That's what omniscient means.
Right,
so
but
you're limiting my God to a singular space-time. That's not necessarily true, because if my God operates outside of space-time, then he can be anywhere all at once.
He can be everywhere all at once.
Correct.
Okay. So then if he's everywhere all at once...
Yeah, omnipresent, thank you.
Okay, if he's omnipresent, then that means he is within space-time.
But I think you're having a hard time understanding that he can be omnipresent, can mean both things at once. He can be outside of space-time, but also inside of. If he's omnipresent, He's everywhere all at once. That's why the Holy Spirit exists.
Okay.
Because the Holy Spirit can be felt by every Christian everywhere in the world.
Okay.
That's the spirit you're talking about.
Okay. So he's both occupying space and not occupying space.
Correct.
That's a contradiction. That's a contradiction.
It kind of is. I will agree.
It is a contradiction. It violates the. You know what the law of non-contradiction is, right?
Yeah, two things that it's kind of a paradoxical statement, right?
P and not P, right? So
Right.
he's well, it could be the law of excluded middle. So he's both occupying space and he's not occupying space at the same time. That's not possible.
You're trying to limit something you and myself truly can't fully grasp. That's the problem.
Well,
with
it's
the human
okay.
mind.
Can you fully grasp a squared circle?
A squared circle.
Yeah.
A square, like, are we talking mathematics here?
Well, no, a squared circle, like a shape.
Sure, I can.
You can't. You can grasp that. What is a squared circle?
Like a squared circle. I don't know. Like if I had to draw
Yeah.
it,
What is it? A squared circle. Yeah.
It'd be some sort of
Like a
circular
square.
object that.
Well, what's the definition of a square?
Object with four sides. That's
Object with four sides.
Yeah.
Right. And then what's the definition of a circle?
I don't know, some sort of curved object that
it's curved. It doesn't have any sides.
That doesn't have any sides, right?
Okay, so that's a contradiction. A squared circle is an object with four sides and no sides. So that's another.
Sure.
So, but squared circles don't exist because it's not a thing.
Okay, sure.
Married bachelor.
Married bachelor.
Can you grasp the concept of a married bachelor?
It sounds like it sounds like a polyamorous relationship to me, but
could be. But do married bachelors exist?
No, of course not.
Okay, because again, that's a contradiction, right? So squared circles don't exist, married bachelors don't exist because they're both contradictions. Then how can God occupy space and no space at the same time? As that's a contradiction.
Yeah, it's just it's the answer of omnipresence or omnipresent, being present everywhere at once, or informally seeing to be everywhere simultaneously inside of our space.
Right, and so that's a special pleading fallacy. So that's all I'm saying. It's a special. Because you can't think of anything else that does that, right? That can occupy space and no space at the same time. Anything, a being, an object, anything. Is there anything you can think of that occupies space and no space at the same time? That has mass.
Occupy? No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe
So
atoms, but not really. No.
Got it. Okay.
But I get what you're saying though. It's a paradoxical statement where you can't be outside of space time. But then, if I had to rebuttal anything, it would just be you're limiting the human mind to something that's outside of your comprehension. That is that's a little too vast for understanding. There's not. I can't
you're saying that, but I could say that about anything, right? Like
you can say that quantum physics, and you can say this about this, that, and the other. But I can go read and learn everything.
Isn't too vast for humans' understanding because we discovered it.
Sure. But you get my point. It's complex, right?
It is. Well, I'm saying it's nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. I got you.
That's what I'm saying. It's not complex. It's nonsense.
But then you're saying here's the thing though. You're basically saying since I can't fully understand it, I almost subjectively dismiss it.
I understand it as a contradiction. That's how I understand it. It's not that I don't fully understand it. It's a contradiction. And you agreed with me. It is a contradiction,
I agree.
Which means it doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense.
But then
contradictory things don't make sense.
I get what you're saying, but I think it's almost to the extent of you're putting a limited sentence on something that's outside of this of what we truly understand.
Could it rain and not rain on somebody's house at the same time?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so that's another example of a contradiction. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's a P and not P. Can I be asleep and awake at the same time?
Yeah, it's called sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking? Well, no, you're still asleep. That's why it's called sleepwalking.
But you're actively awake doing something. Your body is.
Yeah, but you're still asleep. That's why it's called sleepwalking.
Okay.
Okay.
What about the moral argument?
The moral argument? Okay.
Sure.
We can go down the moral argument if you want. Okay. So what's the moral argument?
I would say I think
forgot to do the timer.
most people believe some things are either truly wrong. Like I believe some things are truly wrong, and we know by
Okay.
human nature, and they're
Mhm.
not just opinions. We know, right? Like abusing a child, or
Using
I
a
don't know if
child?
I can say. I'm trying to, murder. We know
Mhm.
that's wrong.
Schmurder.
If
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you, Schmurder. If objective morality exists, where does it come from?
Got it.
Because I wouldn't say culture, because we know certain cultures have sacrificed, so it can't be
Yeah.
culture instinct. I don't believe in evolution alone, because evolution explains survival, not out.
Mhm.
So I would say it has to come from it leads to the idea of a higher morale source, which some philosophers would call the moral argument,
Got it.
which that's just what my take on it.
Okay. And now, I actually happen to agree with you because I'm a moral realist. So I agree with you
Okay.
that it is
Okay.
that I believe that objective morality is a thing. So
Sure.
that being the case,
Okay.
you would agree then that things that God considers immoral were always immoral, right?
Depending, I would say God was a little bit more harsh in terms of the Old Testament versus New.
Yeah.
So depending on what era, in terms of now, where we only follow the quote unquote 10 Commandments and we get out scot free, right? So,
Uh-huh.
so I would say it depends on the time and place. Whereas back in the Old Testament, he was a little bit more harsh. So I would just say it
Okay.
depends.
How do you define objective?
In terms of morality,
Or just the word objective?
objective. Well, it can't be subjective, right? So it
Right.
has
It's
to
the
have
opposite
some
of
sort of,
subjective. But
yeah, I would say it has
so what
some sort of factual basis.
some factual basis, okay. And so then moral, something's objectively moral. What's the factual basis behind it? I'm just kind of going with what you're telling me.
Gotcha. I just think, most of us humans should know that, murder's bad.
Mhm.
Like I would say following the 10 Commandments for me, never lie, never cheat, never steal, never.
That's an objective fact.
Sure.
That's
sure.
objectively true.
Well, we know not to lie. You know not to lie.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, but why
so-
though? Why is it? Why do we know not to lie?
Because you know in your spirit it's wrong. It's not something. I won't say like for
Why is it
psychotic
wrong
people.
though? Why is it wrong though?
What do you mean? Why is it wrong?
Why is lying wrong?
Why is lying wrong?
Yeah. Why is it wrong?
In terms of what? Like just in general, why it's wrong?
Well, you said it's wrong. I'm asking you why.
Well, you're asking me. You're asking me somewhat of a religious question now. Yes.
Well, I'm
so-
asking from your worldview, why is it wrong?
Oh, because my God tells me it's wrong. I shouldn't
Okay,
do it
because God says it's
because
wrong.
it's sinful. Yeah, it's sinful.
Okay. Is that the same for, because you mentioned earlier abusing kids, and it's
Sure,
is
yeah.
it and it's wrong because God says it's wrong?
I'd say it's sinful. You should know better. You
Okay.
probably already know better. So yeah. I
Gotcha.
would say it's
Okay.
wrong.
Okay. And so does that include trafficking kids,
Like
selling them into slavery?
yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, then why does God have a law that allows you to sell your daughter into slavery?
Go ahead and give me a quote on that one.
Okay.
Maybe there's some.
If it's true, okay, well, let me ask this way before I bring it up.
Sure.
Is there any situation in which it's good to sell a child into slavery? And if so, what is that situation?
If the context provides of the sorts that God asked you to do something for a higher purpose, of course. And if the person's obedient enough to listen to God's voice, then yeah, of course.
What
But-
situation would God consider it accept? Because you said now you said in all situations it's wrong to sell your child to traffic kids, but now you're saying, well, if God tells you to do it, it's okay.
Yeah, but you're probably thinking of Old Testament, where a little bit of different world, I would say world presently situations were going on, right?
Is God the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow?
Yes, of course.
As it says in the Bible. So so that means it's the same God that gave the Mosaic law. Correct. As it is in the New Testament. Okay. So, so this God, so this law allowed fathers to sell their daughters into slavery. And you're saying, is this a good
wait, what are you quoting here? What are you quoting here?
Here, let me bring it up.
You're quoting scripture.
Yeah, let me bring it up. It's Exodus 21, verse 7 through 10. So it says here, what? Exodus 21, verse 7 through 10. And this is in the NRSVU Catholic Bible.
Exodus 21.
You said you're Catholic, right?
No, I'm non-denominational.
Oh, non-denominational. Okay. Well, it's the same one for the Catholic versus what? It's NRSVUE. So it says here, when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. This is the Mosaic law. If she does not please her master, who designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. But the big part of this is verse 7. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. So if you said that human trafficking of children is bad, why would God allow men to sell their daughters as slaves if it's bad?
So you're okay, and this is where time kind of comes in. I have to kind of like put this in your brain in terms of time. In ancient Israel, because we're talking about Israel now, right? This isn't describing slavery the way we think of it as today, like kind of race-based, or it's more of a contractual servitude system tied to poverty.
It's tied to poverty?
Make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
So are you saying then that it's okay to sell your daughter as a slave if you're poor?
Let me. Yeah, a poor family might sell a daughter as a servant, not for exploitation.
Okay, and that makes it right.
Not you, but I'm not saying the family was right, but usually as a form as arranged marriage or economic survival.
Okay.
If you think of like today as in economics as poor, we're talking a whole different kind of poor back in ancient Israel in terms of what we have in texts, and that can be backed up by and the Holy Museum. I believe that's also in Israel. This expectation is this specific case that either would become usually two things: master's wife or the wife of their son. So it's usually regulating a marriage arrangement, though. That's usually what's happening. I don't necessarily agree with it, but again, when you're poor, you might do things out of necessity.
Okay.
And people go. We know this today. People go out to extreme lengths to get out of poverty. We know this as today. So you can kind of compare and contrast. But for that time period, these were protective laws, not endorsement of abuse.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of like, oh, since this person's being sold, we're thinking, oh, they're going to be this, that, and the other, like how we think of it today. But in ancient Israel, that's not exactly the same.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard this Cope explanation before. So what I'm trying to understand, though, this is what I'm trying to understand. Because you had said that there was no situation in which it's good to sell your daughter into slavery, and now you've just made multiple excuses for it. So how is it?
You're thinking of it in terms of exploitation, though. It's not necessary.
When did I say that? That's not what I said.
I said you're thinking it of.
I never said it was. I never said that, and I'm not thinking that.
Okay, what are you thinking?
So is it okay? So are you saying then that a slave so there are some situations in which it's good to be a slave?
In terms of today, no, absolutely not. But back then, ancient Israel, families made survival-based decisions. We don't make survival-based decisions. We live off of a healthy wage. We live off of minimum wage.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, again, if a family is poor, then that makes it okay to sell your daughter as a slave. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not. You're thinking of slave as the same way. This is usually.
I'm not asking for reasons. I'm asking if it's good. Because
a
you
good thing
you
to
you
do?
you came at me with the moral part of it. Is it morally good to
Sure.
sell your daughter as a slave?
No, absolutely not.
No, it's not. Okay, so this is not a morally good law. Okay, so
Okay, sure.
right?
But yeah, social systems were usually built around households back then, but today, like we know them, we're built as individuals. Back
Right.
then, it was built as households,
Okay.
as an
I'm still
actual
hearing you give me
family.
reasons for it. I'm asking because you already said it's not morally good. So I'm asking you, then that means that this law was not a morally good law, right? So God gave the Israelites a morally bad law.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I see where you're going with this.
Is God morally perfect?
All the time, all the time, because
So then,
these were
so then this
these
law
were
is
accepted.
morally okay. So then this law is morally perfect.
Correct. But for that time, you again, I told you before we even brought this up that these were two different time periods of, we're talking of
Yes.
ancient Israel.
Okay. And God, you did say God's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Number one, you did say
Correct.
that. And then
Correct.
second, you
But
said God is omniscient. He's all knowing, right?
of course.
Did God
So
know when he gave the Israelites this law that in 2026 slavery would be bad? Did he know
yeah,
that?
of course, of
Okay.
course he did, because
Okay.
times change.
So then what does the time have to do with the morality of this law? Why is that relevant?
Because because we develop over time. Like iPhones, they probably think that's black magic back in the day. So as time changes, so do the humans' mind. So do us as humans. We change over course of evolution.
I'm not sure how that's relevant.
Okay.
Why it's relevant that we changed over time. So then God couldn't give a law back then because we were different back then? He couldn't
Yes.
say no slavery?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we know now as that's just morally wrong as now it is for now. But
Well,
like
were they
back then, it's a
incapable
different.
of it being
What
of
do you mean?
understanding that slavery was morally wrong?
It's you're thinking, but that's the thing. You're not thinking of it as you're thinking it as like as abuse, and you're thinking of
I'm
it as
okay, you're kind of putting words into my mouth here because we both agreed that slavery is bad, right? Is
correct.
okay.
Correct.
So if slavery is bad, and has it always been bad, or was it ever good?
I, w- I I'm gonna have to. I think this is more of we're not gonna come eye to eye, because I believe in two different times. I believe in an Old Testament era
Well, that's what
where
I'm trying to
things were
understand.
different.
I'm trying to understand
Okay,
your point of
gotcha.
view.
Okay,
So
okay, gotcha.
that's why I'm
So
asking you. Okay, so was slavery at any time morally good? At any time?
yes, yes.
It
At one
was.
point in time, it was correct.
Okay, it was. So, and you're saying it was morally good because of the time. And how does the time make something morally good?
Because poverty was worse then than we can imagine. I mean,
How does that
I
make it
can re-
morally good, though? How does it make it morally
and
good?
and women had few rights back then. Also, survival sometimes required
Well,
desperate choices on the family.
okay, but you're
families.
giving
Now,
me you're giving me reasons. I'm asking why was it morally good? Why?
so
You're just giving me reasons of why people did this. Like people did this because they were poor or because women were subjugated.
okay,
Okay, great. I'm asking you, why was it morally good?
because okay, because I can't say for certain like, oh, I was there and I know for certain like this happened, right? I know the
Or
only thing
this
I
is
know
your
for
claim that
sure
it was morally
is
good. That's why I'm asking you, why was it
yeah,
morally
yeah.
good? You're not really giving me a reason
And
why. You're
I'm
just
trying
saying
to
it
give you
is.
because poverty, because there's certain like there are certain like economic standpoints where things were worse than what was written down, as far as what I've
Yeah, I
come to know
understand.
in
I
historical
understand that
documents.
as a reason,
Okay.
but poverty isn't a reason to
Okay.
do morally bad things, right?
Oh,
That's not really a
you'd be
reason.
surprised what people do
Well, I know
I
what they
mean, you'd be
do,
surprised
but
if we if
that doesn't make it
okay,
morally right. That's what I mean.
I
Like,
get
because then that would
sure.
mean then that means we shouldn't arrest people for stealing because they're poor. I mean, personally, I think that, but is that what you believe? That we shouldn't arrest, like if a person says, "Hey, I'm
Well,
poor,"
yeah.
and they steal
I
things,
think just
we shouldn't arrest them. We should just let them go.
no. So I agree with that. I agree with
Okay.
that tenfold. But you're thinking of it as like as not everybody was poor. Majority of the people in Israel, in ancient Israel, were really, really poor. Okay, we're not talking like, oh, we didn't have food for a day. We're talking food for weeks.
Okay.
Okay, that's
And this is
starvation
under
level.
and this is under an omnipotent God, as you previously said, right?
Correct.
Could
Correct.
God have provided food for everybody?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so God could have made people not poor so that they wouldn't have to
Okay.
sell their daughters into slavery.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm still trying to understand from your perspective why
Mhm.
this was morally good. If this God could have just not made people poor, just give them everything that they needed to survive or live. But yeah, so I'm just trying to understand that piece, because I'm definitely not there.
So
It's not.
Your
it's not tracking.
what is your
It's not
question?
making-
Why is it morally good?
Yeah. Why was it morally good back then? Like, because you're saying it was the time period, but we still have poor people today. So are you saying it would be a good thing
So
today
okay,
for poor people to sell their kids into slavery?
You're missing like ancient law. Okay, ancient law would for that kind of slavery.
Okay, I'm starting the poll,
ancient
everybody.
law.
Mhm.
Okay, the ancient law would say, hey, ancient Israel, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure my wording is good so I don't get you flagged. But ancient Israel would say, for example,
Hold on.
hey,
Mhm.
if you sell your daughter to slavery, the law enforces that you provide food, clothing, and marital rights. You also have to treat her as family if taken in as a wife. Also, it'd say something along the lines
If
of
taken in as a wife,
allow
yeah.
her to
Mhm.
correct. Also,
It says that.
her to be redeemed. Yes, it does. Also,
I
allow
agreed
her
with
to
you.
be
It does say
redeemed
that. Yeah,
instead-
I said it
Yeah.
does say that. Now,
Yeah.
aside from the Chat GPT answer, I'm
So,
still not
okay,
hearing
okay,
why this is
okay.
morally good. Why was it morally good then versus not good now? Because you would agree there are
Because
poor
you're-
people
you're-
in the
you're-
world.
you're-
Well,
but you're
hold on.
thinking-
Hold on. My question
but
is,
you're
there are
think-
poor people in
you-
the world today, right? There are poor people in the world today. Would it be morally good for a poor person to sell their daughter into slavery today?
No, not in today's times. No.
Okay, so
absolutely
then
not.
that doesn't really
But then-
explain the change in times, because there are poor people today, right? So I'm still not seeing
not as bad.
what that is. All
Not
right,
as bad as.
I'll give you
as
one last
ancient
shot to.
Israel,
I'll
though.
give you one last shot to answer it. Then we gotta move on to the next guest because they voted to move on. So one more shot. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
One more shot. Go ahead.
What to what?
To try and answer why is this morally good? Because I didn't really hear a sufficient explanation. Because you're
Okay,
just saying,
I'll
well,
give
it's
it-
just
I'll
the
give it- I'm gonna
times,
give-
but
I'm
then,
gonna-
but
I'm-
there are poor people today. But then you said, well,
Sure.
it'd be bad for them to sell their kids into slavery, but it was okay for. So the time doesn't really explain anything. You're
Sure,
just saying
I'm
it's the
gonna
time.
tell you
Yeah.
because Mosaic law back then, you think of slavery as of like Epstein Island. That's how you're thinking of slavery, right? Slavery then
Not
wasn't
really,
actually
no.
a bad thing. Wait, stop. Let me speak.
Well,
Slavery back
you're like
then-
assuming I'm
slavery-
saying things. I'm just. That's not
okay,
what I'm
okay,
saying.
Okay, but okay, slavery back then wasn't a bad title for the wives. Okay, they actually wanted to be left out of their family to live a better life. Do
Okay.
I think it's a good thing? No, I don't. But if the family thinks that their daughter's gonna have a better life versus being poor, why wouldn't they? That's where I'll
Okay.
end off.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they?
All right. Well, hesitate. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. And that's not true at all. Yeah, maybe there were some people saying, yeah, I have a worse existence because my father beats me, and I'd rather be sold into slavery, but yeah. So you guys know, if you're part of the fan club, or if you're a member on YouTube, you have access to my emojis. So fan club members, what would be an appropriate emoji for that? Let's see them. You probably were slapping them down while I was talking because I was like going between screens and all that. But let's see them. What would be an appropriate emoji for that? Because that was pretty wild. Yeah. And if we had more time, I would show that it wasn't about slavery. Definitely was. There was some chattel slavery in there. There was there's the L's, but there's more. There's other ones too. There's the hard drive one. There's the cover your drinks one. All right. That was rough. That was pretty rough. Okay. There we go. There we go, Godwin. There we go. All right. Next guest. But still, it was polite. And so the guest was polite. All right. Let's go to the next guest. So again, if you're in the guest queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and also please have evidence that God is real. Next. How's it going? Hello? All right. All right. Also be ready to talk when you're ready. That person waited like over an hour. Yeah. So next. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How you doing today?
Doing well. All right. So just for TikTok purposes, how old are you? And then what pronouns do you prefer? All right. And what are your pronouns?
A pronoun. I'm a male.
You're a male? Okay. Well, thank you for that. That's your gender. I'm asking what your pronouns are.
Him.
His? His?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. All right. What's your best evidence that God is real? Oh, and are you a Christian, a Muslim, or a Jew?
I definitely believe in God.
Okay. Which God? Which of those? The Bible, the Torah, or the Quran? Which one do you read?
I don't really read any of the books. I do believe in that God forgives everybody,
Okay.
omnipresent, all-knowing.
Okay.
Um,
Is Jesus Christ your personal savior?
I do believe there was a person named Jesus Christ, and he did do a lot of things that set a lot of examples. I wasn't there to actually see it, so I have a hard time believing in something that I didn't see.
Okay. All right. Well, I prefer to talk to Christians, Muslims, or Jews, but I appreciate you coming up. All right. Next guest. So again, if you are in the guest queue, please be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Please be at least 18, and please have evidence that God is real. So, not fucking with deists today. Just don't have it in me. All right. So, you believe in Jesus, but is Jesus your personal savior? Holy shit, you just asked what are his pronouns. Now I see exactly where you stand. Yeah. So, yeah, I only want to talk to Christians, Muslims, or Jews. We don't get very many. I don't get very many. I get a lot of not very many people in Judaism who I talk to about this. Like, they're just like, we don't care. So, your pronouns could be anything you want them to be. I'm asking what your pronouns are. Because everybody uses pronouns. So, yeah. But back to the slavery bit. That was a pretty rough conversation. And here's the problem. So they do use the term liama, okay, which is the root of alma in the Hebrew. And that is daughter as a female slave, could be a maidservant. However, in many instances, this is a concubine. In many, many instances, culturally. So the other part of this is this part here at the bottom. Now, the Hebrew conjugation is a little funky, but basically what that says is she shall not go out as the male slaves do. or she shall not go out as do the male slaves. And what that essentially means is that she's not entitled to be an indentured servant. So she's a slave forever. Was it 21:10? Is that what it was? Was it Exodus 21:10? Where it talks about, oh, no, sorry. It's before that. It's 21:1. Starts there. So it talks about, there it is. So 21 verse 1, before them you shout the judgments. Okay, so that's how we know there, 21:1, that's how we know these came from God, because that's God talking. 21:2, this says, if you buy a servant, a Hebrew servant, he shall go out in 6 years. He shall go free in 6 years. So that's what this says right here. 7 years, excuse me. In the 7th he shall go out. So he'll serve for 6 years and go out in the 7th. Right there. He shall go out in the 7th. And see, if you skip ahead to 21:7, it says here, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. So that means it's forever. It's permanent. So that's not indentured servitude. That is slavery. Now, she could be converted to like the wife of the slave owner, of the person who bought her. He could make her a wife, or he could give her to a son as a wife, and then she would be a wife. But she had no choice in the matter. There's no consent there. So if she was purchased to marry, because there was something called a bride price, that was an option. She could be a maidservant, so she could just be serving in the household. She could be a concubine. So it's just whatever the purchaser determines. So there's no choice there. So she was purchased, which means she was property. And this is specifically what it's referring to. So we'll start at 44. As for your male and female slaves, whom you may have, you may buy them around you from the nations around you. So this here talks about them being property. They shall become your property right here. So male and female slaves. Oh, you can't see that. My bad. I have it highlighted. So they may become property. So these are male and female slaves from outside of the nations. However, and women, because that's what Exodus 21:7 is referring to. So women were considered property. Male and female slaves from other nations were considered property, but men were not considered property. Hebrew men were not considered property unless they were given a husband and wife, and they were given they were given a wife by the master, and then the master, and then if they had children, and they said, I don't want to, and if the slave said, the Hebrew slave said, I don't want to leave my wife and children, then the master would pierce his ear with an awl, and forever he shall serve him. That's what it says here right at the bottom. Shall serve him forever. So, so sorry. I keep clicking buttons just like that. So that's how we know that there was a big property contingent in this. That's how we know. So in a lot of ways, slaves were considered property. So don't believe the apologetic that it wasn't chattel slavery. A lot of times it was. So there were instances, not going to lie, there were instances in which people did get out after 6 years of servitude. So where I was looking was on Bible Hub, because we were looking at the ancient Hebrew. Because now I don't know Hebrew, I am relying on it, but if you need me to, I'll pull in a rabbi. I know two who I'm cool with that will come in and talk if they have time. So, all right. So if you are if you are a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, if you are at least 18, please come up and tell us why your God is real, what evidence you had. Is there an analogous platform to the Greek New Testament? Yes, Nick. That same place, Bible Hub, you can go there and just start looking at shit from the New Testament, and it'll go into the Greek. And if you go into Daniel, it'll look at the Aramaic. Yeah. I think with the rabbis, they know the Hebrew. That's the reason why I bring them up, because of these silly apologetics that try to explain away like slavery, for example. There is no evidence. You know, Angela Mason, you might be right, because I haven't gotten much evidence. May I ask a question? Why don't you debate deists out of curiosity? Because I respect the boundary. Reason why is because, if you look on, actually, there's a really good reason why. If you look on my profile and look at one of the video I posted yesterday, that's why I don't debate deists. Because a lot of deists will just redefine terms, and it's just this Build-A-Bear God that they have invented in their mind. And if you don't agree with their terms or their definitions, then they get pissy. So, it's exhausting. It's annoying. So I just don't really want to have those conversations, you know? So this, how do you explain the human soul? What human soul? You have to demonstrate that there is a human soul, Wesky or Wesky, Weesky. So what's your evidence that there's a human soul? We don't have any evidence that there's a soul. What soul? I don't have a soul. What evidence do you have that I have a soul? I have no evidence that I have a soul. Why would I believe that? Like, where is it? What's it look like? How much does it weigh? What's it made out of? Like, you start asking about, yeah. I've had conversations like that, and it just gets soul equals spark of life. How do we know that's true? It's in your spirit. How do we know that's true? Like, these are just claims. Like, evidence. What's evidence of a soul? You're just defining what it is. Rainbow electricity. Like, how do we know that's true? I'm like, what? How do we know? What is my spirit? Yeah. Exactly, Tuck. There's more to the Bible than just cut and whatever else you guys hear about. Well, Christopher Bear of Christ, come on up and tell me what it is. What is that? Because, if chewing cut, if God got that wrong, a scientific fact, I have 2 soles on my feet. Yeah, see, there's a soul, right? And then you'd have 2 more soles when you put shoes on, right? Yeah, you can try. Come on up. As you see, I don't bite. I'm not a mean person. I'm actually quite pleasant to talk to. But if you are a Christian, you are actually required to come up. I like listening to soul. Yeah, Motown. There you go. Faith is an evidentiary. Then why believe it? There's no reason to believe it then. So if you have, that means you just have no evidence of what you believe in. There is no request option? Maybe not for you. There should be a pink and blue, 2 pink and blue people button at the bottom of your phone screen. That's how you request up. But yeah, if you're a Christian, you actually are required to, oh, see, Gerlie, you figured it out. There you go. All right. Let's, well, now my multi-guest window. See, after all that, I prompted people to come up, and now my multi-guest window won't come up. There it is. Okay, let's get Gerlie up here. You know what? I'll bring them up both. But Michael, I'll ask you to mute. I'll talk to Gerlie first. Okay. I'll just bring you both up.
Hello.
How's it going, Gerlie? Hi. How you doing?
Good. I'm
Are you
good.
at least 18?
Yes.
Okay. And what pronouns do you prefer? I'm gonna mute you, Michael. All right. Yeah. What are your pronouns,
Gerlie?
Gerlie? Yeah.
Girly.
Gerlie?
Yeah.
That's an adjective. What are your pronouns?
Oh, what? I'm a woman. Is that what you mean?
It's a woman. That's a gender.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then
Pronouns.
like pronouns. Yeah. So I guess I'm human.
You're human. Okay,
Spouse.
that's
Okay.
that's a species,
Are
right?
you trying to understand my like my?
What pronouns do
I
you
believe
prefer?
in Jesus Christ like that.
Well, I hear
Like
I. That's one pronoun. What else? What other pronouns do you use when you refer to yourself, or when people refer to you?
that I want to understand why you're asking me that question, really, because I want to make sure I answer
It's
it
a
right.
sign of
This is my
respect
first time
because
in here.
I don't want to assume
I see.
I don't want to assume anything. So I just
Okay,
because
yeah.
there are
Just
there
go
are
ahead
women
and
who use
call me
they
Gerlie.
them. Call you girly? Okay. Well, that's gonna get a little exhaustive. Okay, girly.
Okay,
So
or she, or
there we go.
feminine.
That's those are pronouns. Fantastic. All right. And you said you're a Christian, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your best evidence that God is real?
So my brother is he actually is agnostic,
Okay.
and that's why I kind of wanted to come up here and say, hey, why are you atheist versus agnostic?
I'm an agnostic
And
atheist.
oh. You're agnostic atheist. Well,
Yeah.
an atheist means you don't believe in God, but an agnostic one says I don't know.
Yeah.
Either
I don't
or.
know. I don't know if any gods exist for sure, but I don't
Okay,
believe
yeah.
that any exist. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe there is a God, a creator.
Okay. And
And
why do you believe that?
my foundation as a Christian, I believe that's what the scripture is meaning to tell.
Okay.
And if
So
you
it's
want to incite certain sections, it actually could be stand throughout the whole thing.
okay.
If you combine the whole messages. And I get
Okay.
dinged on this because, Bible scholars always kind of get on me because, hey, if you intuitively know
hmm
that there requires you to have faith and hope in
Okay.
something you believe in. So even in your imagination and your creativity, if you were raising kids to try to find hope, aka there's a tooth fairy, there's Santa Claus, right? These are all imaginary, kind
Yeah.
of, not
And they have
really,
hope in
but
those, right? Yeah. They
and
have
they
faith
have
that
hope
does
in those
exist.
exactly. And so
That
if
doesn't make it true though, right?
it doesn't make it true. That's right.
Okay.
And that's kind of where you want to go. Okay, so if you can't see that the scripture is going to find foundation from understanding that there's a God, because you want to kind of be agnostic on whether there is or there isn't. And I'm just going to check, have you had somebody pass away?
Have I had somebody pass away?
Yes.
I'm not sure why that's relevant.
Because when you are a believer in God, you understand what happens.
Okay.
And that's part of the life cycle
Okay. Well,
and
yeah,
part
I've
of
had people
understanding
pass
faith and hope.
away, but I'm not sure how that
Yes.
relates to God being real. Like, how is that evidence that
that's
God is real?
I think that's where I was kind of tapping whether are you Buddhist and what you do for your spirit, and you're like, there's no proof of my spirit, there's no proof of my soul. So you can deny both of those things, but
Well, how
when
do we
we
know
find
how do we know we have souls and spirits, and how do we know God is
okay,
real?
for my
Yeah.
personal experience, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
now,
But my personal
if we,
experience says that there is no soul. So that means so
yeah,
that means there is no soul, right? If we're basing it
right,
purely off
and
personal experience.
personal experience, and that's why I was asking if you've
Okay.
had somebody pass away,
Yeah,
because
I have.
and then
Yeah,
have you ever had
I
like,
was in the hospice
look,
room with a person as he passed away. Yeah,
yeah,
my
okay,
father-in-law.
good. And then if you also had, have you ever had any paranormal experiences? I'm
Nope.
just gonna ask you.
Thought I
No,
did, but
okay.
I was delusioned. I was imagining it.
Yeah, somebody was taking a string and making it look like a UFO.
Well,
Something
so help
like
me out
that, or
here. Help me out here.
you
So
found out it
if
was a person. Yeah,
okay, so if a kid thinks they see a monster in the closet, then that means
yeah,
because that's a pretty paranormal experience, right? It's not typical.
exactly.
So that means the monster in the closet's real?
Indeed,
It is.
to the child, yes. And
Well,
that's
to the
kind of where we
child,
want to.
but I'm saying objectively true, like 1 + 1 = 2
I see.
true, not
I
they think
see.
it's
So
true.
you're going to try and use like science and physical 3D items to kind
Not
of
not
understand the
entirely.
spirit?
Not
Okay,
entirely.
okay.
No, not
Okay, so
entirely. But
that's where,
but it's true, right? Spirits
well,
actually are
no,
real,
if
right?
you, if you consistently deny a child their truths and understanding what they hear, feel, and denying them, that will cause psychosis in that child. And when they become an adult, you know, if it was sociologically impacted because of the behaviors, their situation, economic, you know, situations, that if they were denied that and then you know, we're like, okay, well, I don't believe in God because every single time I pray he doesn't answer me, right?
Well,
So those are
wait,
kind of
hold
things that
on.
we're talking about related to spirit,
Okay,
sorry, and understanding
let me kind of,
situations that are behavioral
okay.
and
So
spiritual, because when you go to therapy,
wait, hold
you're
on, hold on.
trying
I
to
got to jump
understand
in. Hold on, I got
situations.
to
Okay,
jump
okay.
in. Okay, because you're
Because I'm
throwing a
trying to
lot at
give you
me.
some kind of
I know, but you're throwing a lot at me at one time, and you're just making
okay, I
like
got
you
you.
made like a stack of claims, and I have to do one at a time. So I want to
I
go
got you.
all the way back
I go
to
really fast too.
understood. So it's just I'm not doing it to be rude. I just like if
I
you
get you.
throw a lot at me, I'm like whoa, wait. So
I get it.
here's so help me understand.
Sorry.
So are you saying that if we tell a child that there are no monsters in the closet, that we could possibly traumatize them?
No, if you deny what they understand, is their spirit or their
Well,
soul
no.
and
It's
what
not
they're
denying what they
experiencing.
understand. It's just that we just show them there are no monsters in the closet. Like
Yeah,
what I did, this is what I
you
did with
show
my
them the
kids.
3D. Exactly.
Here's what I did with my kids. When my kids said there were monsters under the bed, monsters in the closet, I said, show me. Where are they? And then they would say, well, they're not here now, Dad. Okay, well, when do they show up? Well, when I'm in bed at night. Okay, then I'll sit here and wait for them. And then
Exactly.
I sat and waited for them. And then they said, okay, I don't see any. So where are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you're protecting him.
maybe they're scared of you. Well, why would they be scared of me? I'm just a guy and they're a
You're bigger,
monster.
and you're the protector.
And I go, well,
get it.
then is it possible that they're not that you just saw something that isn't actually a monster? No, it had to
Well,
be. Well, then we do,
okay.
so we kind of go
No.
through this, but eventually they
Okay,
grew
yes.
out of that, right? They don't like my kids
Yes.
are older now. They're 18 and 15. They don't believe monsters exist in the closet anymore, right?
Exactly.
So, okay, but this is what I'm trying to understand though, Gerlie. What I'm trying to
But
understand
when we're talking
is
about soul and personal soul and
so when we're
spirit.
talking about
Okay.
soul, how do we know souls exist? What's the evidence that souls exist?
And that when I say that, yes, I've had somebody pass away. Yes, that I've had paranormal experiences. Yes, I have special gifts that are clairvoyant, seeing, and kind of witchery and some of this Christianity
Okay.
stuff, because it's right and it's kind of damned. And that I understand that those are their perspectives from the patriarchy that they were kind of brought up in these areas.
Okay.
However, you have an intuition. Is that true?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We have
So
intuition,
your
but it's based on,
intuition,
it's usually, but we know neuroscientifically, a lot of it's based
microaggressions.
on,
Sure.
hold on. It's a lot of
And
it's based on, well, a lot of it's based on like past experiences. Also, we think it's an evolutionary trait because it's
Yes.
based a lot on, like it's a protective agent, like in terms of, it's like a protective feature in terms of like if you see the bush rattle, you're going to think it's a predator and you're going to run. And then there were species, animals that didn't run. And then, the 1 out of 100 chance it was a predator, they got eaten. Right. So it's like a survival mechanism, but it's kind of what intuition is. But you would agree intuition isn't always correct, right?
Agreed. And when you're talking about intuition and how that was created from a human being, and when you look at some of the fascinating things that are happening, even in like a movie, right? We can even talk about a movie, something imaginary, and people resonating with that because they are aligned with that.
Okay, I got
that
you.
is everybody's
Still
spirit.
not okay.
Yeah, I'm just
But
going to give you.
well, you're just claiming
the
it's
kind of,
spirit, but how do you know it's the spirit? Because like I said,
because
like
it's
as far as intuition,
resonating
well, what does that
to
mean though?
others,
What does
and
that
that
mean?
it's energetic, right?
Well, how do we know that?
That the spirit is energetic because you can't see it.
Because you can't see it, but we can
That's
see other
right.
types of energy. Like we can see electricity, we can see lightning, we can see, yeah, we can see, we can measure energy, we can see it. No, we can't see the air, but we can measure it.
But you were
We
educated
know
to
it's there.
understand it's there. Yes,
Yeah, because
it was
we can measure it.
scientifically
We can build instruments that measure it.
Right.
So what instrument could we build to measure and
Build-
capture a spirit, a soul?
and understand that a soul is being measured without being incarcerated and being called crazy.
What
Yeah,
machine could we build to measure a soul? Like what machine
and
is there that does that?
that's the proof that you need as an atheist. However, when you have those beliefs and you experience the spiritual growth that you're supposed to gain from the wisdom within the scripture, I'll just say it that way,
What wisdom from the
without
scripture?
denying,
Because we can see
without
because
denying.
the scripture has
Okay,
things like in other books, we see the same types of wisdom. Like for example, the golden rule
exactly.
was in ancient Egypt like thousands of years before.
And
So
even Buddhist, right?
right.
Buddhists
So that's what I'm
believe in
trying to
God.
understand.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand. If you're saying this is otherworldly, it transcends humanity, but all these things were born in humanity. So how do we know
Exactly.
it comes from
Yes.
beyond humanity?
It comes beyond humanity because you believe that you have a spirit that should resonate and align with God's goodness.
Wait, hold
Now,
on.
that does say, I'm not
So
going
hold
to
on.
say that
I
God
gotta
doesn't
stop you right there.
exist.
Gotta stop you right there. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
it's
I know you got a lot to get out, but I gotta stop you right there because you're saying we have a spirit, right? And then we have a spirit because there's a what was that last thing you said? It was like
There's a
something.
spiritual growth
There's a
from
spiritual growth
yourself,
from
right? To
yourself.
understand that there's something above you.
Okay, but I don't understand that. I have no evidence of that. I don't know that's true.
Exactly, because you need evidence, just like you needed evidence that air
Right.
is in the air, right?
Right. Well, would you need
And
evidence?
that's
Well, why would you? What other things do you know that have no evidence besides God and spirits?
God. Okay, so that's where, as an atheist, I'll just say it that way, or agnostic, not understanding that it does or doesn't show to you in evidence that you understand,
Evidence that I
that
understand?
God's wisdom is to allow you to have spiritual growth to understand He exists.
Again, how
Now,
do we know that?
that's what I'm
We're
trying to tell you.
well, yeah,
You
because
won't
you're like again,
you
you're
won't
just
learn
saying
it
claims.
because
Yeah, I just need to know
you
how
won't
do you know
learn
that?
it if you don't believe it. And so when we have
So
been
you have to
telling
believe
you
something in order to learn it? Like so kids have to believe 1 + 1 = 2 before learning that 1
yeah,
+ 1 = 2?
exactly. When you let's go
What?
back to the
No.
Santa Claus. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to
No.
the Santa
That's not
Claus.
true. Like I went
What do you
and,
mean?
like when I went to college, I learned a lot of things that I didn't believe. Like there were some unbelievable things that
Exactly.
I learned. Well, wait a minute. You're
Exactly.
saying
And I still
exactly.
do too,
Wait,
every
wait,
day, and I'm humbled.
wait. You're saying exactly, but it just contradicted what you just said. You said
No,
in order
because
to
you are
learn it, you
also
have to
going
believe
through
it.
your life's journey. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, and
Trust.
that's all. Is your name Trust? Okay, so
Just
Mr.
call me
Trust.
Trust. Yes.
Okay, Trust.
You don't have to say Mr. Trust. Just Trust. It's all good.
I
It's-
gotcha.
yeah.
So trust that you understand that you trust yourself in your stance of not believing there's a God. Is that true?
As far as I know, yes.
Yes, because you
And it's
keep
not
claiming
believing there is no God. Is I don't believe that any God exists. There's a difference in that statement.
right. And so that's where I wanted to go back to understanding Santa Claus. Why do we have Santa Claus? Is
We
it
have
for
Santa
capitalism?
Claus because it's part of it's for capitalism, but it's basically to tell the kids where their presents come from. So in an effort to kind of manipulate them into being good the rest of the year. So then they don't really bother
That's
the parents.
manipulation tactic.
Well, of
So
course
you
it's
think God
manipulation.
is in a manipulation contact? Is some
The
type
concept,
of
yeah.
manipulation?
Yeah, religion
Concept. Okay.
was
Oh,
made to
absolutely. I'd
manipulate
agree
people,
with you there.
control and manipulate.
I
Yeah.
agree with you there. And that's why I understand that those that are Christian and believe in Jesus Christ and God as a, I don't want to use the Bible and the scripture to kind of convince an atheist that doesn't, one, believe that you would have a sense of belief in
Well, wait, hold on.
something
You're a
and
Christian,
honor it.
right? You're a Christian,
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Well, you have
Mhm.
to though. That you're required to do that according to the Bible. Are you saying that's
I
not
know,
true?
but if you're not going to understand my language speaking from the scripture to
Okay.
justify that there's proof,
Well,
there's no
it's
point in doing that. Does
right.
that
Well,
make sense?
I hear that, but okay. Well, I see what you're saying, but it does say,
Mhm.
make disciples of all the nations. So
Of
how would
course, and that's
how would
kind
you
of
make
why
me
I'm
a
talking.
disciple? Yeah. How would you make
But
me a
I'm trying
disciple?
to
Yeah.
convince an atheist that doesn't believe in God to use the scripture. It's not going to work. It's
Okay,
not going to
well,
work.
he will understand something. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So if you give me evidence, I'll believe it. I mean, that's
Okay.
how I believe in all the things I believe in, is there's evidence that they're true.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
so
if you know,
we're kind of
if
going
you
in
look at
circles
Santa
here.
Claus,
Yeah, we're
no,
looking. Yeah,
you
we're
didn't
going to.
let me finish, sir. With my
Well,
Santa
you're just
Claus
because
and
you're just
understanding the
stacking claims on
belief.
top of claims, and I have to wait. Stop. How do you know that's true? Like you're just saying
Well, I was still
we have.
going back to the Santa
Yeah.
Claus thing, and you said, yeah, it's to convince your kids to be good,
Yeah.
good all
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you know you're using a manipulation tactic, and I said I agree with you that religion's kind of tainted, right? A lot of people have perverted it, and that's kind of where you go, okay, well, if you're an atheist, then you're going to go that you understand Santa Claus is to help, I'll call it sheep, right? As a, like, I don't know, what do you resonate with? A leader is going to,
Uh-oh. Do we lose you, Gerlie?
sorry, I got a
Can't.
phone call.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. My little nephew called me.
No worries.
He's a UFC fighter.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and I really try to help him center and believe, but I
Hmm.
can't push it on him if he doesn't believe, right?
Oh, is
And
this
that's
the
a
agnostic that
perfect
you're talking about? Your nephew?
Oh no, the agnostic is my older brother, and
Your
we
older
we
brother.
banter
Gotcha.
on this. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we
Gotcha.
banter on
Gotcha.
this all the time because my mother was a devout, Catholic, and I was like, Mom, I know, but I don't want to. My kid's 22 now. I said I want my son to find God in his own right when he's able to understand that he needs him.
Okay.
Okay, and that is the spiritual growth that you want to be able to knock out all the religious
I know, but you
patriarchy,
keep
right?
saying, well, I'm sorry. You keep saying
Well, I was just
spiritual
trying to bring you to
growth.
resonate how I kind of said, okay,
Understood.
I agree with you. Religion is caca.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. If I start using terms that you don't believe are true, of course
That
you would be
same.
like, well, wait a minute. How do you know that's true? So when I
No,
hear the word
and that's
spiritual
exactly
growth, like
it.
what exactly is that? Like what
Spiritual
is
growth.
spiritual growth?
Okay,
Yeah.
think about a monk, right?
Hmm.
Mm. Do you think that they are working on their spirits?
No,
Okay, so what do
I
you think
don't.
their objective is?
We
I'm
don't
just
have,
gonna check.
well, they think
They
that's
have
what
no
their
purpose.
well, that's their objective is to work on their spirits and to become
Indeed.
more pious or things of that sort. What I'm
Yes.
saying is, since I don't have any evidence that spirits exist, I can't then conclude they're working on their spirits. That doesn't make sense,
I
right?
gotcha.
So, yeah.
So
So,
what word would you like to tell the monks that they're working on if it's
well,
not spirits,
well,
as
I don't
evidence
know.
for you?
I would what I would
Okay.
but if a monk were to say to me, "Here, I can help you work on your spirit," I would first ask him, "Demonstrate that I have a spirit." Like kind of what I've been
Right.
asking you for the last 17 minutes. Like, how do you know you have a
Okay, so
spirit?
I'm gonna go to Bruce Lee. You like Bruce Lee?
Oh, I love Bruce Lee.
Okay. Do you think that he didn't work on his spirit as he worked on his craft?
He thinks he works on his spirit, but I don't think he did.
Oh,
He just worked on his
so
martial
now I
arts.
can't convince you of spirit. I'm like,
No,
you would have been able to
no.
resonate with
I don't believe
Bruce
in
Lee.
I don't believe in chi. I took martial arts for over 17 years. I don't believe
Yes.
in
Okay.
chi. I don't believe in any like the energy force or I don't believe in any of that. It's
Oh, you don't
basically
believe in a human energy force either.
basically you punch the
Okay.
person hard enough that they hurt and you hit them
Ah,
harder than they hit you. And then you avoid getting hit and you get hit less than they do and you win. That's basically what martial arts is. So
and do you believe you're a walking energy source? I'm just gonna ask it that way.
walking energy source. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's a lot of loaded terms, but
Yeah.
no, because I'm not a source of
Okay.
energy because nothing is I'm not supplying energy to anything. So no, I
Oh,
wouldn't call
okay.
myself an energy source. No.
Okay, so if I were to explain, you eat food for what?
For energy,
Maybe?
but that's me
Okay.
taking energy from something else, but I'm not providing
To
energy to
produce
anything.
energy like
To
workout
produce energy to work out, but I'm not a source of
and
energy. No.
okay, I see. And so if you don't understand your physiological sense that you are an energy source,
Well,
you will not
you have to
understand.
explain why I'm an energy source. You're
Oh,
just saying,
okay,
well,
so
if you
you're
don't
an
explain,
energy
you have to give me
source
evidence that I'm
as
an energy
life.
source. Well, give me evidence of that.
Life as an energy source?
Like I would be an energy source, like if I died and then I
Yes.
was, because that's my plan is I'm going to be buried under a tree. I'm going to feed a tree. Then I would be an
Yes.
energy source. Okay. Then I would
Okay,
be.
so you
But
would
right
be an
now I'm
energy
not.
source when you're
Yeah, I'm
dead
not.
only.
Yeah, I'm not.
I
Unless
get
I
that.
like I start cutting my hair and then saving it and then using it to start fires in the fireplace. I might be considered, energy source there, but
Yeah, even
yeah,
you can even say I'm a donor on my driver's license or whatever, right?
something like that. Yeah, that would cause me to say, okay, I'm an energy source, but I would be an energy source at that point. But as I stand before you now, I'm not an energy source. I'm actually an energy sucker.
And
I take more energy than I give out.
That's
Yeah.
good that you can totally be humble and admit that.
Oh yeah,
'cause a
I
narcissist
take
would
way
not.
more energy than I give out.
That's why
Absolutely.
they're called energy vampires,
Yeah.
okay?
Absolutely.
So if I am an empath, for example, and I am making an effort in, my altruistic view to help you
Hmm.
understand that there is a God that exists, that if you don't find evidence that you are actually an energy source, but you just admitted that you suck energy,
Oh, I
and that if
totally
I'm
suck.
yeah, okay, so good. No. But to me,
Oh,
I'm
I
an
suck.
empath
Yeah.
and I give energy. So like others would just say, this guy is an atheist, let's just leave him and let him go, right?
Yeah.
But me, as an empath, I'm going to be altruistic and try to explain to you why you do have a spirit, why you do have energy, and how you want to source that energy within that spirit and understand how to grow that spirit so that you are not defeated by those that don't agree with you. So that's where
Okay. All
Hey,
right.
did I say a lot of stuff there too?
You did say a lot of stuff, and again, we're kind
Not
of because
evidence for you,
we're
right?
presupposing that I have a spirit, and
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of where
we're
I have to go
presupposing that,
because you're
right?
not going to believe the words in the
All right.
Bible. You're
Oh,
not going to say that the morality code comes from something else, right?
okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the morality piece, but if you want to
No,
keep
but
going
I
down
agree
the
that your
energy spirit
morality
train,
code.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
starting.
exactly. And that's
Okay, just want to announce, chat. You did hit the early goals on the on the TikTok side, so I am
oh,
going to start the early kick poll. So just letting you know, guest, they did start that, so I'm just starting that up. But go ahead,
okay.
keep
So
going.
scientifically, you would admit or you don't admit that you're an energy source for your life.
I don't no, not for my life. I can be in certain
Okay.
situations, but not like as I'm here right now. Like I'm not
Okay.
providing anything energy right now. So I
Exactly.
wouldn't call
Okay,
myself an
so
energy
if
source.
I
No.
tell you that your words are an energy source to the people that are listening, do you agree with that?
That's semantics, but I don't agree with that. No.
Yeah, you don't agree with that?
No.
Do you understand that if you are trying to raise your kids, now that they're a little bit older, they're still kind of young, they need you, bro.
Yeah.
And they need guidance from you, and say you're not there anymore because you pass away. Sorry, God forbid, right?
Yeah.
And you're feeding the tree, that you are no longer able to feed them in their teenage years. I think you said one's 15,
Mm-hmm.
right? And your guidance of being an atheist, right, is no longer there for
Mm-hmm.
that son of yours or daughter. I can't remember which one was 15, that you are or
Yeah.
you're not an energy source to show them that guidance that, there's no more boogeymans.
Yeah.
Or
Still
they're
not
they are
convinced I'm an
still
energy
like
source.
maybe putting themselves in predicaments that are maybe promiscuous or soul sucking, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of that, the Ten Commandments or whatever, right?
Okay.
Or trying to deter them from the seven deadly sins, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're no longer there, do you believe that you're currently there today to provide them an energy source of wisdom so that they can survive certain things that happen to them in life?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it an energy source of wisdom.
Okay.
I just
So
call it
when you
imparting wisdom.
share words, you don't perceive yourself as an energy source
No.
or a spirit to
No.
tell your kids. Okay. So
No.
when you pass away, let's
Okay.
just go back to that one, right?
Okay. This
And
has to be
your
the last
kids,
statement because they did vote to move on. But here, I'll give you the last.
okay.
I'll give you the
And your
last bit here.
kids, well, it's hard to prove you do have a spirit if you don't believe you have energy source or a spirit. And that's how you're going
Okay.
to get to understanding there's a God.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
and
Well, hey,
that's
Gerlie, I do have to move on, but I do appreciate you coming up, and I appreciate the
okay.
polite conversation. It was pleasant.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
I was just trying to get to the last closing of that, which
Oh yeah,
is
yeah. But they did vote to move on, so I got to move on. But maybe come back another day, and we can pick up where we left off.
when we
How about
talk
that?
about spirit, it is guidance.
Okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Gerlie. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You too. Bye.
All right. So, lots of claims, no evidence. I tried, man. I tried. I very much tried. And see, when people are pleasant, I got a lot of patience. I got lots of patience. And you know, Gerlie was very, you know, very pleasant to talk to, and was, you know, I was trying to get there, but it just wasn't happening. So, all right. Okay, Michael, you're up here. Thank you for waiting. Appreciate you. You can unmute now. Hey, what's up? Thanks for waiting. Appreciate you. So just to keep up with TikTok purposes, how old are you?
Uh-oh, somebody got a message.
Somebody got a message. Wasn't me.
What for you? Uh-oh. Might be one of them women.
Okay. How old are you?
Yeah, so
Wait, hold on.
believe
How old are you?
I'm 48.
48. Okay.
No,
And
47.
47. Okay. And what are your pronouns?
I'm a man.
You're a man. Okay. That's your gender. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what pronouns do you go by?
What is a pronoun? What the hell?
You don't know what a pronoun is?
I'm a him. A him, I guess. Yeah. I don't
Him.
know. I don't
Okay.
recall
That is a pronoun.
modern-
Okay. Fantastic. We can deduce the rest.
dads.
I got you. All right. And then which God do you believe in? The Christian God, the Muslim God, or the Judaism God? The Hebrew God?
Well, I believe in the God of Israel, the Christian God, yeah.
The Christian
Jesus
God.
Christ, bro.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. What's your best evidence that God is real?
The God's real?
Yeah.
Well, you got a heartbeat, bro. You got
Got a heartbeat? Okay.
Yeah.
Autonomic nervous system. We know why we have heartbeats. Science figured that out a long time ago. So how does that demonstrate God?
Yeah. Well, because you're alive, and you know, science can't figure out life itself.
Wait. So that's kind of two different things. So I'm alive, but how does that demonstrate? Because we know why people are alive, right? Scientifically, like we
Science can't prove what.
Science doesn't tell you why you're alive; it tells you how you're alive.
Wait. Who am I talking
Science
to?
does not answer any why.
Whoa. Who am I talking to? Is there somebody else there? I'll talk to both of you. It's fine. But unfortunately, you did get a jellyfish, so I'm gonna have to move on to the next guest. But appreciate you coming up.
Oh.
Wow, that was quick. Rock Easy with the jellyfish. Rock Easy, you are on you have this much tolerance today. Isn't that your second one? That's your second jellyfish that you threw down. Sorry, Trust, I just couldn't. Good jellyfish use. Yeah, see, I leave it in the hands of my chat. That's like I said, I control the process. In this case, chat controls the outcome. I say, look, if you don't want this guest up here, throw down a jellyfish or hit the early kick pole goal. And then we do it, right? So, yeah, because you're alive thing. You know how many times I get that in my comments on my videos? You know how many times I get that? It's just like, Yeah, not that science can't tell you why you're alive. It's just that's not a scientific question. Well, it's an ontological question in that sense. Yeah, I can get real with that, but you still have to provide evidence, and it becomes epistemological. See, that's the thing. We're conflating ontological with epistemological. So, you know what? I think I'm going to invite Jay, because Jay, you have been very belligerent in the chat this whole time, and you are going against your Bible. I don't think you know your Bible very well. You do not know your Bible, do you? Have you read the entire Bible, Jay, in if, why, no, if, whatever the fuck that says? Here, let's invite you up. Because, we can't. Joe Man Roberts, request up. Joe Man Roberts, because we're going to have a little chat about your behavior and see if it's in line with the Bible. So request up. Otherwise, we're just going to mute you for the rest of the live because you're being kind of a dick. Okay. So if you are in the guest queue, I see 3 there. Please be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. Please be at least 18, and please have evidence that God is real. All right. Next guest.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just to verify for TikTok purposes, you're at least 18?
I'm turning 5.
25. Okay. And what are your pronouns?
I'm a she.
Okay. All right, fantastic. And I am hearing myself in an echo. Don't know why.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. That's why.
Oh, you're driving. Okay, well, here, pull over. And because I can't have you up when you're driving. Can't drive in live. That's against TikTok terms of service. So pull over and then stop and then come back up. All right. But I'll go to the next guest to give you a chance to do that. So sorry. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, can't be driving while you're up as a guest. Okay, we can't have that. Okay. So just pull over, find a safe place to park, well lit, lots of, so you're in a safe area, and we'll come back to you, Simi. Okay. All right. Next guest. How's it going? Looks like they dropped. All right. Next guest. How's it going?
Hello.
Hi there. Can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
I am 41, he, him.
Fantastic. All right. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
God of the Bible.
Okay. What's your best evidence that this God is real?
So my argument is that in order to have anything, you have to start with something. So if we understand the concept of nothing, if you can imagine a space where there's nothing inside of it, then it only makes sense that nothing can come from that because there's nothing there. So therefore, if we have anything, then we must first have something that anything came from. And we very quickly find ourselves in an infinite regression in which we just regress into the infinite origin of things. Now, some people, and maybe this is your position, I'm very intrigued by this live, which is why I came on here. So maybe your position is that we're simply infinite origin of things, black hole, white hole, and it's random all the way down. And if that's your position, that's fine. Or we can take the position that I have, which is that there is an origin of things which itself did not come into existence. And I call that God.
Okay. So, because I heard the something, because I get the something from nothing argument a lot. And so actually, most, if not all physicists, astrophysicists agree with you. Okay. So why is it that they all agree with you, but they don't, it's like 80% of them don't believe in a God?
I don't know that they agree with me. So what are you saying that
they do.
That they agree that it's black, white, or that it's black hole, white hole, or that there's an infinite origin that didn't come into existence?
There's always been something.
Argue that.
Yeah, there's always been something.
There's always been something. Well, it depends on what you call that something, right? So I've known a lot of scientists that call that something the universe. The universe has always been around, or physics has always been around, or the forces have always been around. That's fine. We can call it different things because we don't have to personify that something, right? We don't have to give that something a personality. We can just say that it's forces all the way down into infinite existence. And if that's your position, hey, I can't argue against that.
Okay. Well, yeah, what's I believe that the universe has always existed and that, it's an eternal wave function according to quantum mechanics. And so which there can be infinite regresses. So trying to understand from your point of view, how do you demonstrate that's God and just not universe, fields?
No, I don't demonstrate that. So your position, would you be comfortable calling it nihilistic?
No.
Would you be comfortable saying that if I agree, you don't think that's nihilistic?
No, it's not nihilistic.
But you just said that you believe that the universe is an infinitely regressing wave function without a personality at its base. Could be.
Could be. Why does it have to have a personality?
It doesn't.
For it to be
But
infinite.
Would you argue that your position that it's an infinite non-personality is a nihilistic position?
No. Why does it have to be?
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, so why are you trying to pin that on me then? I don't understand.
That's how I've described it. Yeah. Okay. So you don't consider yourself a nihilist?
No, I'm not a nihilist.
You think?
Yeah.
No, please go.
I'm a naturalist fallibilist.
Agnostic.
I'm a non-reductive fallibilist naturalist.
Yeah. No, I think what you have are coming across again. I love this question. This is such a thought-provoking question. I think what you're running headlong into and then really bringing to the fore is the question of faith, right? Which me, as
Mhm.
someone who is a believer, I have to admit that there's no evidence for faith-based claims, right? I myself was an atheist, agnostic, and
Nah,
didn't
I don't think
always.
so.
I really,
You
really
weren't a
was.
real.
I
Nah, you weren't a real
I
atheist.
was. I was.
Nah, because you'd still
I
be one if
was.
you were. Nah, you weren't
No,
really.
no, no,
Nah,
no. I was. I'm telling you, I was. So
nah, you're
I
good
can't.
sport. I'm just messing with you. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm just
Thank you.
messing
No, I
with you.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you're good.
Thank you. No, good. No, I am. Yeah, yeah. So I really, really was, and I'll tell my story. So my story was that I was atheist, agnostic, scientist, long time, and then I came to
Scientist?
believe. Yes, yeah, I was a practicing
Oh, what?
neuroscientist.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. So
interesting.
I came to believe that the COVID shots were and are poison. I still believe they're poison. And then when I came to believe that, I said, well, here's an evil that is transcendent. I can't defend myself from an evil at this scale. And then I said, well, maybe the Bible is real. And then I read it with an open heart. I still believe it's real. But to your point, I can't argue evidence for that these invisible, transcendent things are real. It's just something that has to be experienced
Okay,
first person. Yeah.
okay. So if that's the case, because you read the Bible and you believe the Bible is true,
I haven't read the whole thing. I'm like
mm,
95% of the way through it. I'm on
95%. Have you read the Old
I've read
Testament?
Genesis. I have. I've read Genesis to I'm currently on Ephesians. So Genesis to Ephesians in order.
Okay, Genesis to Ephesians. All right. So,
Yeah.
but you've read the entire Old Testament and you're still a Christian. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Let me since we're in public space,
Oh,
I'll actually push.
it's the third jellyfish
Oh,
of the day. I got to let you go.
okay.
But hey, I appreciate you coming
That's
up.
fine.
Have a good one.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Wow. Just no tolerance today. It must be no tolerance Thursday or low tolerance Thursday. Wow. Was it the V word, the vaccines? Is that what did it? Who was it this time? Sarah. It was this time. This time it was Sarah with the glowing jellyfish. Wow. Low T Thursday. Yeah, low T Thursday. There you go. You know, I've been accused many times of having low T by a lot of Phil bros. Yeah. Hey, Storm. Okay, one more day until Storm's fundraiser game. One more day. Matter of fact, you want to come up for a second, Storm, and tell us what you're doing tomorrow? How about that? Come on up for a second and tell us. Give us the
Hey,
details. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm happy to hear that. How's Amadeus doing?
Not good. We have some more bad news today, so
Oh, sorry.
we're really trying to push for this tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
So
glad you're up here
tomorrow
then.
at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my account, so follow me.
Yes.
8 p.m. we are
Follow Storm.
having game night. We're doing Mad Libs tomorrow.
Mad
And
Libs.
there's several people dedicated to be up on the panel. We also have more room for this, but what they're going to be doing is you have to be willing to make a fool of yourself. But when I read out the Mad Lib, they're going to reenact
Oh,
what is happening in the
that
story.
sounds like fun. Okay. And
Yeah,
is it
just
is it the same format as last time that you can sponsor a seat on the game?
no, I have
Okay.
I haven't figured out a way. What I'm going to do is to encourage more donations like throughout the game to make it fun. So the chat, because the chat
Yeah,
is obviously going to participate because they're going to give
of
me the
course.
words.
Mhm.
We're going to give challenges to the people who are acting. So it might be, hey, send in a $20 donation and this person now has to act out the story, their eyes closed or something like
Okay.
that.
Gotcha. That's cool. That
But
sounds cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
but basically just hang out in there, have fun, share the live, even if you can't donate.
Awesome.
And if you're coin rich and money poor like me, send gifts.
Send
I'm including
gifts.
all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Okay.
but it's really important. His son is passing and hospice is meeting today
Mm.
to give a timeline. So more bad
That's
news
rough.
today.
That's
It's really
rough.
tough.
I'm so sorry.
So
That's rough.
I'm hoping to go over the goal because
Yeah.
funerals are expensive and he's
Yeah.
time off work and
Yeah.
so if you go to my profile, there is a TikTok that I posted that has all the details on it, and if people can go and share that as well,
Yeah,
and
please
sharing all
do.
the discords that you're in as well.
Yeah.
If you know any big creators, like Trust is so kind to send everybody to me after his show tomorrow. But if you know anybody else that would be willing to, oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. That would be willing to have you advertise it a little bit. A
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, we had a friend get up on Joel's live and he sent everybody our way. So if you're close to anybody and you can advertise, it would be amazing.
Yeah,
So
definitely. That's why you're up here. I wanted to give you the
Yes, thank you.
opportunity. There's 200 people watching right now. So yeah. So please, everyone follow Storm, and let's come together as a community and support Amadeus and Storm in this, because it's a really rough time for them. So anything we can do to soften the blow, anything we can do.
I appreciate you so much. So
Yeah,
thank you. And thank
absolutely.
you for
You
letting
got
me
it.
come up and let
Absolutely.
everybody know.
Absolutely.
Follow me.
Yeah.
I'll be in the chat.
Tomorrow, 8:00 Eastern time. So just remember that, everybody. And we're going to do a raid after my show tomorrow. So that's what we're going to do. That's the plan. So we already have a raid prospect tomorrow. That would be Storm. There it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's always good to see you, friend. And so we'll be seeing you tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Have a good
All right.
night.
Have a good night. Take care.
Thanks.
All right. So yeah. And I'm pretty sure Storm is still in the chat. And maybe Storm will stay there. Maybe she'll stay there so that y'all can follow her if you didn't get a chance to. But yeah, as many people as possible, please follow her so we can provide some support. And yeah, there we go. So there she is. Yeah. So my thoughts and heart go out to you, Amadeus, and Amadeus's son. I know, man, it's just, can't imagine that being a good thing. And speaking of which, also, my friend Lobes, what is up? Oh, Simi, hang tight. There's Lobes. How you doing, Lobes?
Hey, what's up? I guess I was a little bit behind. I had to catch me up.
Yeah, I had to catch you up a little bit, but you're here. You're here. What's going on, brother?
I'm on lunch break, so I have to clock back in a little, like maybe just over 20 minutes. So I've got some time to hang out. Hey, can I show you this cool thing real quick?
Yeah. Show me real quick. What you got?
You'll think this is cool.
Okay.
So,
oops, shit. I turned off your camera by accident. My bad. I meant to expand you. My bad.
What you did.
I know I did.
Okay.
My bad. Can you, here, I'll invite you to turn it back on. Sorry. There we go.
This fucking guy. Okay, so check this out.
Oh yeah, the town. Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw the picture in your Discord. That's cool. So I got to see it live. Right on. So you got the yeah. Right on. And and by the way, it's not a T, everybody. It's not a T.
It's not a T.
It's not a T.
It's inverted T. It's St. Peter's T.
It's St. Peter's T.
He spilled it.
He spilled it. Right
on.
on.
You notice how people get angry at the upside down cross and are like, that's St. Peter's cross.
Yeah, right. So. Right. Right.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Well, let's maximize your time. Let's talk to our guest Simi.
Okay.
Hey Simi, this is my buddy Lobes, and welcome back. All right, you're not driving now?
Thank you. No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Okay, you said you're 25. Pronouns are she, her. I think that's what I remember. Okay, and which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
The God of the Bible.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay, what's your best evidence that this God is real?
All right. First, I like to ask questions just to know where, what you believe in and what exactly it is.
Okay.
So the first question I have is, when it comes to, things that you see around you, like let's say a chair, a car, everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that someone created it?
Yes, and we can demonstrate that they created it. Yeah.
Exactly.
We can demonstrate
so by, it having an object, we know that like an object didn't come by itself, right?
True. However, there are some particles that do pop into existence because of the existence of different fields that we have. So science has demonstrated that interaction. Yeah. So when energy interacts with like Higgs fields or quantum fields, gravity fields, things of that sort, particles can, just appear out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask this: did you do anything science related in your career or anything like that?
STEM related, but not science. I was an engineer for over 25 years, and Darth Gently renewed his monthly membership. Thank you. So thank you for renewing your membership. And I am very happy and pleased to stream for you. So appreciate that, Darth Gently. All right. Sorry. Yeah. So I was an engineer for over 25 years, and so, but not a scientist. No.
Nice. I mean, in engineering, there's a lot of, exact numbers and exact figures that you have to play with.
A lot of ways.
Exactly. And so another question I have is that, do you believe, like, if there was any shift in the number, let's say for gravity, if it was less than the number it is right now, do you think it will affect anything in the universe?
There would be an effect on it. Although we don't know if that number has always been. Like, it's possible that number could have changed at some point in time. So, yeah. So how would you demonstrate that number is that gravity has always been the way it was? Like, it's never changed.
Well, thank you. I can, off the top of my head, from like demonstrating the fact that if it were to shift today, we would definitely be seeing a lot of chaos, right?
No, for sure.
So,
Yeah, without a doubt.
If gravity were to shift in anything, where the planets are standing right now, if they were to, it was over time that we realized that the planets were shifting and all of that good stuff, right? And so looking at that, in that if any of those numbers were to be 1 point off, there will be an issue. So,
yeah, I agree with that. Now, how does that demonstrate God exists? Because, scientists agree with you, physicists agree with you, but they don't make the leap to therefore God is real.
Exactly.
So how did you make the leap?
Well, thank you. So when you look at
so polite.
When you look at where science is right now, everything is a discovery. We keep discovering every day. We keep proving from theories, they become, fundamentals, so it's a discovery with science. And so we're never at that point where we know everything we are to know. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. So now if we don't know everything there is to know, I'm still not sure how that gets us to God is real.
Okay, follow me. I'm just, leading up somewhere.
All right.
So with the point that we are not where we're supposed to be, there is a chance where everyone is at different points where they know something that others don't know.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That might be correct. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So, you're getting us a little bit closer. How about just get us there? How about just get us to the end?
All right. Let me just speed up. Okay. Let me just speed up. So, I mean, we all agree that, if we see something that exists, it definitely wasn't created by itself. And I do agree with you that when
not
it
all
comes
things.
to,
like I said, particles pop into existence, weren't created.
okay. And then when it comes to what you said about energy, where we're not sources, and energy in science can only be transferred, it cannot be destroyed, right?
Yep. Energy can be,
Exactly.
energy is neither created nor destroyed, second law of thermodynamics. Okay.
Exactly. So
All right.
we all, even when we look at human life, we see that it is only living things that bring out living things, correct?
Well, hold on. It's only living things that what?
Okay, so a living thing only came from a living thing.
Living thing only came from a living thing. Not necessarily. We have strong evidence from abiogenesis that that's not true. That things came from non-living things.
Okay. All right. And right now, science is at a point where we believe that the world definitely started at some point.
I don't agree.
Ago.
Well, do you mean world as in Earth or world as in universe?
Universe.
Like existence. Okay. No, we have evidence also that the universe has always existed.
Okay. I mean, I guess because I know scientists do, but some scientists believe that, you know, universe hasn't always been, and it came out as a result of the Big Bang theory.
And so now a big misconception about that is that actually scientists, a consensus of astrophysicists, like about 68%, say that the Big Bang says nothing about the start of existence. It's just that it's an event that happened at least 13.8 billion years ago. But if you pinned a physicist down, they'll probably say, we don't know.
Okay, good. But all I'm trying to say is that when it comes to creation and how intricately detailed it is and how creative and how, you know, like even in engineering and what you have to do, you must think that it's only a bright mind that can come up with these numbers and come up with everything, right? And so that's my evidence.
Okay, that's your evidence.
If you definitely have questions, but you know, like
I
I'm
got
trying
questions.
to say is that that's okay.
I got questions.
When you look at how intricately detailed the DNA is, the sun is, everything that happens in life, you definitely see the hand of a creator in that. Like,
I don't
why
see
is
it.
it so specific?
Yeah, I don't see it. Well, let me.
When we look at the DNA,
Take it over,
when we look
Lobes.
at DNA, we see evidence of these what is it called? The retroviruses that can only be from common ancestors that we have, and we share those with apes. This is one of the strongest pieces of evidence for evolution, and evolution through natural selection explains the apparent design that you are so amazed by with your teleological argument here. And if we are to say that we were created intelligently, it wouldn't be from an ultimate intelligence that can do a perfect job, because we got a lot of problems. We break down, our retinas are in backwards, our vagus nerve is really long and loops all the way down past the heart and lungs and goes all the way back up to the voice box, which
so
inefficient. The voice
inefficient.
box, the throat and the esophagus, the windpipe and the esophagus are right next to each other, which is a choking hazard. We need
And
to
only
breathe,
a little
which is-
flap of skin that keeps you alive every time you swallow. Yeah, one little tiny flap of
also
skin.
it's also just we also need to breathe too, which if we didn't need to breathe, then we wouldn't be able to drown, and we could explore a lot more areas. We would have far fewer methods of
Go into
death.
space. Yeah.
We could go
Well, no, actually, no. The radiation would do us in. But then that kind of brings in the next thing is, speaking of which, the sun gives us cancer. So why does the sun give us cancer? And then, you know, so Lobes' thing about the breathing hole and the feeding hole being right next. Yeah, choking. Especially when we had a feeding hole down at our belly buttons. We had that already. But then but then the wisdom is that no, that's not good enough. We need to have it up here so that you almost potentially die every time you take a bite of food. And then
wisdom, like wisdom teeth, where they don't even fit in our mouths.
Yeah,
we have to
wisdom
have
teeth
them
don't fit.
extracted.
Yeah, and honestly, I see all of the things that you're saying, how inefficient this all is, but you know, this is moving from the whole creationism evidence and going into the fact that we are in a fallen world. And you know, according to the Bible, it's because of everything that has started in the beginning, everything was created perfectly, and we were never ever.
According to the Bible, we live in a fallen world, and that's why the sun has to give us cancer, and that's why our throat, that's why our windpipe and esophagus are right next to each other. So before we were in a fallen world, was our esophagus in the back of our head or
where was how did the breathing work but in the perfect world?
This is what I'm trying to explain, right? Because God is, you know, in our belief, we believe that God is all powerful, and if he created something that way, he has the power to sustain it. And so even if all of these, you're saying this because it happens, right? In that world, at the beginning, it was not supposed to be so. The sun was never supposed to give us cancer. We were never supposed to die. We were never supposed to get sick.
Did Adam and Eve have was the breathing? Yeah, just this one question. Where was the breathing hole and the feeding hole on Adam and Eve? Where exactly was it?
Okay. My belief is that it was where it is now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go
What
ahead and
was
finish. But I just thought of an awesome question because I saw Aaliyah in here. Aaliyah has an awesome
Go
question.
ahead.
I'm going to ask it on your behalf, Aaliyah. No, go ahead and finish. I didn't mean to interrupt. It just
Oh, no,
hit
you're
me.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Did
So
Adam and
what I'm
Eve?
going
Did Adam and Eve
yeah,
have belly buttons?
I'm guessing so. If God
Why?
created them as is,
Why?
So the beautiful thing is there's some, like you said, why do they have like the belly button, or why
Yeah.
do
Why
they
did I
have
have one?
good, like that. The way God has designed everything, he created everything for a reason. So definitely the belly
Okay.
button was for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And
For Adam and Eve, what was the reason for Adam and Eve?
at the time, of course they ate. That's why you see that she was deceived to, eat the apple, the
Oh,
What are you
fruit.
talking
that was a
about?
hard left turn.
Why?
Hard left
Why?
turn. We're talking about belly
Hey,
buttons, not her eating the
no,
fruit. Yeah.
No,
What?
I'm
there isn't.
thinking,
So, Simi, there
because
isn't actually a
I'm a
purpose
nurse.
for our belly button. Our belly
No,
button is a scar from where our
yes,
umbilical cord was.
yes,
It
I
doesn't serve
know.
any purpose. I mean, you could maybe get a shot in there if it's deep enough and do like body shots and stuff. That's a fun utilization of the belly
Yes.
button, but I don't think that's why we have it.
No,
And Adam and
I
Eve,
was.
I don't know if they're
Yeah.
doing body
I'm
shots.
so sorry. I was getting there. So like,
Okay.
All right.
a nurse. I'm a nurse. So when it comes to the belly button, like you said, you're right. It is where the umbilical cord is connected to the child. So at some point, they had to receive some food. But Adam and Eve, again, they weren't born, right? They were created. And whenever we see anything in the Bible that was mentioned the first time, we
Yeah.
see that as the order of things, almost
Okay.
like the order of things.
Okay.
So if they didn't have a belly
I got that.
button,
We got
we
some medical
can't just
professionals in here, so yeah, we
we,
can.
we just can't come out and say, oh, now everybody else has a belly button when the first person
It
didn't
just
have a belly
sounds like
button.
you're just saying what God did, but the evidence suggests that we evolved through natural selection, and you have a lot of excuses and post hoc rationalization to try to cram your belief into something that doesn't fit, like a world that doesn't fit the actual model.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
not quite. Yeah, it doesn't quite explain why we have belly, or why they had a belly button, because
okay.
they'd
I
have no
mean,
use for one. Like there's
I
like no
might not.
reason for them to have one.
I agree. I see your point. I see your point totally. Okay. But because the Bible doesn't give us a reason for why they had a belly button. But from my time as a Christian and reading the Bible, I
Mhm.
see a lot of things as an example for the rest. Does that make sense? Like Jesus's life on earth was an example for us to follow. Does that make
Was it?
sense? No,
You
How
I
should.
so?
mean, you said you read the Bible, so I'm
Hmm?
thinking, you have that, like, you read the part where Jesus did certain things and did not do certain things. So I'm just trying to pull from that and say that, like everything we see in the Bible, not everything, because there were definitely bad things in the Bible that
Mhm.
that God himself does not agree with, like some killings and stuff like that. But when I'm looking at Adam and Eve, I see them as an example. Now, the Bible doesn't tell us explicitly that they had a belly button. It didn't tell us
Mhm.
explicitly that they did this. But because I believe that Adam and Eve were humans,
Mhm.
I'm going to think that, okay, they look just like me. That's how I think of it.
Mhm.
So I'm not here to say, oh, I know why they had a belly button or not. Those are some details that the Bible didn't put into the book in the beginning,
Mhm.
but I believe that Eve was a woman just like I was.
Okay. Now let's go back to what you said about Jesus, because you said Jesus was a perfect example.
Yeah, it was a good example for us to live by as Christians.
Perfect example to live by. Okay. So help me out here, because now is it a perfect example for Jesus to ask his followers to bring people to him and so he could watch them be slaughtered? Is that a good example?
Can you show me where in the Bible?
Sure, I can show you. Now, but while I'm doing that though, could you answer my question? Like, is that a good example that Jesus set?
For people to come to him to be slaughtered?
Yeah. To have enemies be brought to him to be slaughtered. Is that a good example of that Jesus was giving us?
I have not seen where Jesus
You haven't
asked
seen
for
that?
people to
Yeah.
be
How
slaughtered.
much
That's
have
why I
you
was
read?
asking for the
Have you
verse.
read the whole Bible?
Not the whole Bible, but I've read,
Mm.
a good portion of it.
All right. Let's
But
bring
let
up.
me
Let's
see that verse.
Yeah, let's bring up Luke 19. Well, so
Okay.
do you agree or disagree? Just before I bring it up, I just need an answer. Do you agree or disagree that Jesus saying, "Bring me enemies, bring them to me, so I can and then so I can watch them be slaughtered"? Is that a good or a bad example that
Okay,
Jesus was
so the
setting?
reason why I'm not gonna give a yes or no answer is because I've not seen a place where Jesus asked for that. But if anybody asked for people to come to be slaughtered, of course that's not a good example.
It's not a bad example.
So
Okay,
I mean,
so here's
let's
Luke
see. Yeah.
19 verse 27. This is
Okay.
Jesus talking to his disciples, and it says, but as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence. So that's not a good example of, that Jesus set, right?
Okay, so let's read. Whenever we read the Bible, you always read in context.
Absolutely. What's the
So
context that would make this okay to have Jesus, so that Jesus would be present for people to be slaughtered in front of him? What context would that be good?
So I would
that be a
reading.
good example?
What translation are you using so I can
This
use
is the
same one?
NRSVUE. Yeah.
The ESVU. What?
The NRSVUE, it's the one that is used in accredited.
NRS?
Yeah, it's accredited seminaries. It's the study Bible that's used in accredited seminaries.
Okay.
Yeah. So why? Yeah. So is that? Are you saying that it's a good example that Jesus gave to ask his disciples to bring his enemies here so that he could and then have them slaughtered in his presence?
Okay, so I'm gonna, read by context again, like I said, because if I took a novel at any chapter and I saw something bad, I can't go based off of that just one line, right?
Yeah.
And so
Well,
I have to read the whole thing.
Sure. Why
And
would
two,
Jesus want to have people slaughtered in his presence?
okay, let me just read. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Let me just
Context ain't gonna
see.
help. It's not gonna help.
No, you're good. It's okay.
If I were to make up a context to make it seem as light and fluffy as possible, I don't think I could come up with one. Maybe if Jesus was like, and here's an example of something I would never
Okay.
say.
All right.
You know?
So, I see first off, it is a parable, right?
Huh?
A parable in
And what's the
any
parable
context
referring
is
to?
usually, so in any time when you read a parable, a parable is a story to explain a deeper meaning. So
Sure.
imagine your different expressions in English, like your idioms. When I say he kicked the bucket, he doesn't necessarily say he kicked the bucket. It means
Sure.
someone died, right?
Okay. So what
So
idiom is being used here to slaughter people in his presence? What does that? Yeah, because I think you're
this is
leaving out a lot of the
referring.
context though, because
No,
what
no,
is
no,
what
no.
exactly is Jesus talking about here?
Okay, good. So in this parable, it's talking about the kingdom of God, right?
Right. It is talking
And
about the kingdom of God. So who are these people? Who are Jesus's enemies?
okay, so when we refer to Jesus's enemies, it's those that don't necessarily want him, that hate him. So anybody that is called my hater is like an enemy, someone that doesn't want me, someone that doesn't love me. And that's something big in Christianity, is that God does not just do things without your permission. He asks for your permission. Do you
Yeah.
want me? And then I do it, right?
Yeah.
And so an enemy here is someone that doesn't love God, someone that is
Enemy
against God,
doesn't
someone
love
that
God.
doesn't love.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you saying are you saying that it's good to slaughter those who don't love God?
No. So in this case, the thing is, it's good that you're not smiling at me trying to,
Well,
explain
because
this.
that
No,
includes
it's
me.
good.
So okay.
No,
Well, I'm just
glad
happy
you're
you
not
said that.
yelling.
No, I'm not
I'm
yelling.
glad you're not yelling. It's
No,
good.
no.
So,
No.
let me explain this again. That when Adam and Eve first fell, they basically sinned, and the wages of sin is death. Without any, like, that's just being God just to being a just God. When something is wrong, he judges justly, right?
Okay.
Now
What
he
is
has given. I'm so
okay, so
sorry.
he's judging
Wait,
well, I
I
just have a
wanted to.
clarification. I have a clarification question because you said
Good.
enemies are those who don't love God. So why would God need to judge and slaughter people who don't love him?
Good. I love that question. Why? Think of no.
I love the
I really do
enthusiasm
love the
here.
question.
Why
I
does
do.
God need to
Wait.
kill people? Oh, I love that question.
No. He doesn't. No. That's the misconception. Mr. Trust, please give me a moment to explain this, okay?
Oh, that's a
God
misconception?
does not. No. Yes, it is. God does not hate us, and that is why he gave himself to die on the cross in the form of Jesus to save us back to himself. And this, he said, he actually had a plan from the beginning, because in Genesis, right, we see that Adam and Eve fell. However, God told them that the serpent will bite his heel, but he will hit the serpent's head. And that he was referring to Jesus, that Jesus would come and die for our sins and reconcile himself back to us, that we would be reconciled back to him. And so he provided a plan from the beginning. However, when Jesus came, we basically rejected him. We rejected this gift. We rejected him coming back to reconcile himself with us. But the thing is, God doesn't just, walk into a room and takes ownership. God asks for permission. So if you say, well, I do not accept this gift, then that,
Wait,
he's not
he would
going to force you.
he would ask permission to torture me?
Yes. No, not to torture you, Mr. Trust. That's not what
You don't
I said.
God tortures people forever?
No. Let me explain. Because of what happened in Adam and Eve, everyone was already condemned to death, period. It's like a court. Let me explain this.
Wait, condemned to death? I thought you said he doesn't kill people.
No, he doesn't, but he's a just God. Let me explain this. Quick.
Well, how do they die then?
Mr. Trust, can I explain this real quick? Can I use this
Yeah,
example?
but I'm asking for clarification. How do they die?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to clarify, right?
Okay.
In the court, right? In the court of law, if someone kills someone, the judge is obligated to be a just judge, to say what you did is wrong, and this is what has to be done to it.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Okay, just to clarify. Yes, I do. Now, just to clarify though, so you're saying those who don't believe in God deserve to die?
Don't deserve. I mean, that is what the moral standard of God is. He is holy, right?
Okay.
And he
So
is set apart.
right. So you're saying, so you agree then that those who don't believe in God deserve to die, right?
I do not. I'm not saying they deserve to die.
Well, then
And
what
this
should
is
happen? What should happen to
Okay,
them?
So this death is not physical death. This is eternal.
It's not physical death? It's eternal.
No.
Whoa, eternal
It is
death.
eternal death. Everyone is going to die or be raptured. So it's either, because everyone's going to die. Like it's just period, because we are not going to live forever on earth. However, we do have, in the beginning of time, we were supposed to live forever. We were not supposed to have sickness. We were not supposed to have death. However, Adam and Eve, sinned. And so that's when all the issues of life came in, and now we die. Right?
So how do non-believers die then?
Non-believers, everyone dies the same way, right? Everyone, gives up the ghost, like we don't have any breath in us anymore.
No, if you believe in God and you're a Christian that's done everything, and your sins have been forgiven, you'll live forever, right? You'll live forever seated next to God, right?
That's the thing. It's not based on what we do or don't do. It's based on if we believe and accept Jesus.
Right. But what I'm asking you is, if you believe and accept Jesus, you will live forever, right?
But not in this physical body.
Okay,
Our bodies will be transformed.
Understood. So your bodies will be transferred, but you will live forever, right? That's all I'm asking you. Okay, so if you don't believe in God, you will die, right? You won't live forever.
If you don't believe in God, you will die, but then your spirit will definitely be separated from God. That's the
Okay.
separation that
What
everybody
is
calls
the second death then?
hell.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the separation from God. The fact that
No,
you
it's
won't
not
be in God's
separation from God.
presence.
It's a
It
second death
is.
means no. It's the final death. It's annihilation. So
No,
there is,
so
yeah. Do you want to
when
see have you read Revelation?
oh yeah.
You
At
have?
least some parts I have. Yeah, some
You've
parts
read
I
some
have.
parts? Okay, well, have you read the parts
Mhm.
where there's a second death? Second death is
Yeah,
annihilation,
I think so.
meaning if you are sent to second death, you're annihilated. You don't live at all. But then there's a
Like
contradiction
it
because
is.
there's some passages where there's eternal torture, but then there's a
Mhm.
second death. But
So I know a lot of
pretend
people believe
the
in the
contradiction doesn't
whole.
exist. But I'm just focusing on, because you said that people do die. Yeah, people die from this world. I'm with you on that one. All
Mhm.
right. But
Mhm.
what I'm trying to understand is, you said if you believe in Jesus and accept him as your
Mhm.
savior, you will be transformed into a new body, right?
It's
And you'll
either
live
you
forever, right?
you die, like everyone dies,
Mhm.
or you are transformed if you don't die before he comes back.
Gotcha.
If
Yeah.
Jesus comes back and you're still living and you're a Christian, your
Mhm.
body will be transformed.
Okay.
And so that's the offering Jesus is basically making, that if
Yeah.
you accept me as your Christ, as your Lord and Savior, you won't have to die the second death, which you were referring to.
Yeah, the second death, which
So,
is permanent
mhm.
death. Yeah, permanent death. So
Yeah.
people do die, right? So that's what I'm trying to understand from you. So you're saying, and that God judges you to receive the second death, right?
No, all of us have been
No?
condemned even before. Like, God doesn't have to pass judgment and
We've
say, "Oh,
already
you're going to hell."
been judged. Okay, so we've
Everyone
already been
has
judged to
been
receive the
judged.
second death. Okay.
Yes, and this
Okay.
is because of the original sin. And
Okay.
so now to basically remove that judgment over you, you
Mhm.
have to, accept that he
You
provided
have
a
to accept
solution
Jesus as
for
your
that.
savior. Okay.
He
So
provided a
we've
solution.
okay, so
Yeah.
by default, just by being born, we're going to be thrown into the lake of fire and receive the second
Now,
death.
that's
Right?
what everybody says, lake of fire, but ultimately it's separation from God.
Well, no,
And
it's what the Revelation says. It says it right
again,
here. You see it right above my head. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of
mhm.
fire. This is the second death, the lake of fire.
Who
And
were
anyone whose
thrown? Who
name
were
was
thrown?
not found written in the book of, and well, it says here, and anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the
Okay.
lake of fire.
Is
That's the
that
second death. It's right there.
okay? Yes,
Okay.
but it
So
says
let's look at
no, no, no,
21
no.
verse
I
8.
get you, Mr.
Yeah.
Hades, Mr. Trust.
Not
So
Mr.
you
Trust,
said,
just Trust. You have to call
okay.
me Mr. It's okay.
Sorry,
No,
I
no,
call
it's all right.
everybody Mr.
That's
So
okay. Now it says here, Revelation 21:8.
mhm.
But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the polluted, the murderers, the sexually immoral, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars, their place will be in the lake of fire that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. So it says it right there. So you're going to burn. It says burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. It says it
But
right
guess
there.
what?
The
You don't have
faithless. You
to.
see it? See the
Yeah,
faithless
yeah.
right there.
So like, there's a
Okay.
choice. So you
So
don't
this not
have
it's
to.
not eternal. Well, it's not eternal separation. It is you
It
burn
is eternal.
in the lake.
I mean,
But it's
like generally, God is not going to be found here, so it's definitely
yeah.
separation, right?
Well, it's not.
Exactly.
But see,
So
it's not like the sunshine and rainbows hell you're trying to sell
no,
us. It
I
is the
don't think
lake,
so.
the burn with
Yeah.
fire and sulfur. That's not the sunshine and rainbows hell that you're trying to
So
tell us about.
that's what I'm trying to say, that there is a choice. That if you do believe, if anyone here believes that, oh, there is a God and this is real, then there is definitely a choice. There is a choice where it's like you get to choose. You get to choose. Like you can literally choose if, this is where you would like, if you would actually like to be with God forever at the end of the day. And so that's the beauty of it. It's not
Yeah.
like a force or anything. I definitely, I made a choice. I wasn't
Right.
forced into this.
Well,
And the thing is, I
okay.
can't answer all your questions, Trust, but like we can't all answer all the questions.
Holds up.
However, what we know, right? Well,
Yeah, what we
thank
know,
you
we
so
know.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you're gonna go now. I mean, we have like 50 more
Well,
seconds if you want
I
to stay
can
up.
talk.
Granted. So okay,
It was
I got
fun.
you.
It was fun.
It was fun. Okay, so you're all right. Well, hey, well, we can just part friends here, and you can come back another time, and we can talk more. How's that sound?
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Simi. It was nice
as
talking to
well.
you. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Wait,
Oh,
Simi.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Sorry.
I was waiting very patiently. I just wanted to talk about belly
Oh, I'm
buttons.
so sorry. Yeah, I know.
No,
right?
it's okay. It's okay.
That's okay.
I was gonna ask her. She said she's a nurse, right? So, like, what's her reasoning for God creating the human body with vitamin K deficiency?
Oh, see? Oh, I should have. Yeah. You know what?
I
Aaliyah,
know.
just jump in. Don't wait for me to.
Okay, I know sometimes I'm too much. Yeah, Simi, she said she's here. Okay, so tell me why we have babies that have vitamin K deficiency bleeding. Like, why
Yeah.
does God create that if he's so perfect in its intelligent design and all of that? That's always
fallen world.
always my question.
It's a fallen world.
Because it's a fallen world?
It's a fallen world. Yeah.
That's so silly. And
Yeah, it's
so
not really a good explanation, huh?
It's not, and she's a nurse, and so does she believe that every illness that her patients have is because of the devil and because of we're in a fallen world,
Yeah. Right?
not
I think
because of
that's-
natural body processes?
Yeah. That's kind of, then why be a nurse, right?
Excellent question.
Yeah, why be a nurse if that's what it is? Because it's kind of like it's like
So then
beyond,
shouldn't
it's like
she-
past your pay grade at that point.
Yeah,
you're
like
just cursed.
it'll never be solved. No one will ever be
Right.
cured because we'll always be in this fallen world.
Yeah. Right? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's all.
That's what I'm thinking. Well,
And
that's
oxygen reperfusion injury, like oxygen, the thing that we need, is also the thing that can kill us and murder us. So like, or sorry, unalive us and unalive us. So like, if
Yeah.
God's so perfect in its intelligent design, what's that about?
yeah, right? So many questions.
So many
But,
questions.
so many questions. But you know what? I think I like the Turn to Jesus one. That's the one I want to talk to. Turn to Jesus. How are you? You having trouble connecting? Ah, there you are. Turn to Jesus. How's it going?
All right.
All right.
Have you read Revelation?
Hold on before you
lately?
go on. I need your
Okay.
age and your pronouns.
Okay, it's 53, and I'm a man.
You're a man? Okay. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
telling us your sex. I appreciate that. What pronouns do you go by?
He.
He? Okay. Thank you. All right. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
The only one from the Bible. There's only
The Bible.
one
All
God.
right. All right. And then this is my friend Aaliyah, who's going to be co-hosting with me.
Hello.
I'm just assuming,
just here
Aaliyah,
for-
because you're still here.
I can hang out for a little bit. I was just here to talk about belly buttons, but I'll stick around.
Oh, I just presuppose it since you're up here, right? Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
no,
talk
that's
about
fine.
vitamin K and
how do
belly
you-
buttons and all that good stuff.
Yeah, how do you ground that logic? Just kidding. We're not doing
Right? How do you ground that? Yeah, exactly.
How do you
You're
ground
like,
that?
don't even
Okay.
talk, don't even say that word to me.
What's your odontology on that? Okay, sorry.
Right,
Just kidding. Go ahead,
right.
turn to Jesus. What's
So
your best
sorry.
evidence that God is real?
Yeah.
Let's start with the book of Revelation.
Okay.
With the mark of the beast.
Okay. The mark of the beast.
Oh,
See, I knew this was going to be a good guest. Yeah, go ahead.
That
We're
chip.
locked in. Go ahead.
That chip they put in your right hand or forehead, and there's a Neuralink
The
they put in your
chip?
forehead.
They put where is this chip? Because I haven't gotten a chip yet.
You don't have to get it right now, but then one day you will be forced
Okay.
to get this chip.
How
But
many
right
know?
now, they
How many
just
people
give-
do you know that have the chip?
I've heard about it, and they have.
You've
in
heard
Whole
about
Foods
it?
Stores, in Whole Foods stores.
Whole
there's a
Foods?
machine- Whole Foods, yes. In
Oh
Whole
man,
Foods,
I
they
shop at Whole
have-
Foods.
Listen, let me talk.
All right.
If you
Are you
want to
going to
hear.
mention how at Whole Foods you can scan your palm?
Yes, you can scan your
Oh,
palm.
you can
got a
scan your
chip
palm.
in your hand.
There's no chip though.
There's no chip though.
Yes, there is in your hand.
No, it's just your
How
palm.
you gonna skip? No, how you gonna do that without a chip?
Have
They
you
take a
heard
p-
of fingerprints?
Yeah, it's fingerprints.
Okay, you don't use fingerprints. You just wave your hand over the
Yes.
scanner.
Yes.
What do
You
you think
don't-
it's doing? What do you think it's
And
doing
without-
with
Yeah,
your
what do you-
hand? Do you
Yeah,
think
there's no
it's
chip.
It's reading your.
Listen,
Hey, turn
Without
to
a
Jesus.
chip.
Hang on. Do you
Huh?
know why Aaliyah and I know this?
how do you know?
Well, the reason I know personally is because I use my hand to shop at Whole Foods, and I don't have a chip in my hand.
I also
It
use my
doesn't
hand
work.
And
to
see,
shop at
Aaliyah?
Whole Foods.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
like
don't have a chip in my hand.
we don't have a chip.
either.
Yeah, we don't have a chip. I mean,
Unless you have a chip,
no.
it won't work.
but it works, and we don't have
you read
chips.
Revelation?
Yes, have
One day you're
revelations.
gonna-
But I'm trying to.
One
Well,
day
hold on
you're gonna
though.
have
Hold
to
on.
have that chip.
Okay, we'll turn to Jesus. Hang on. Stay with us for a second here. How are we able to shop with our hands if we don't have the chip? Are you saying we're lying?
As far as I know, because as far as people have been shopping there, they said you need the chip.
Okay,
I
but we
never
don't. No, we
used
don't
the
have the chip.
thing.
You don't need the chip.
There's no chip required. You
No
can
chip
set it
required.
up in the store. There's
Yeah.
the only chips that I get from Whole Foods are potato.
Oh, I get
And
sweet
I usually
potato.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have a chip. I'm
Yeah,
chipless.
instead of chip. You know what chips I hope come out really soon? You're still workshopping this, Aaliyah. That's David's Crispy Bits.
David's Crispy Bits. We're working on it
Those are
right now. The
still
Girls Gone
still-
Godless have a lot going on right now.
Still working. Yeah.
But we're working on it's on the way.
Oh yeah, you're busy. You're all over the place. You're moving. You're shaking. So yeah, exactly.
I am.
You know,
I am.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Take your time.
So Turn to Jesus. There's no chip in
No.
to shop at Whole Foods. Do you have another example that you'd like to bring
Yeah.
up?
Well, if you take
Anything
the chip,
else?
it's irreversible, and you
No,
cannot.
remember we said that there is no chip.
There's no
so we're
chip
moving
for
on
Whole
to the
Foods.
next thing.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one.
All right, then I'm gonna have to go to. But that part where you said Luke 27 is a parable.
Yeah, that's a parable.
That they received money, and they were supposed to double the money, and one guy buried it.
Yeah.
Buried the money.
Yeah.
And that buried represents that you're a sinner.
Yeah.
So
Now
that's why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
That's why.
Forgot to hit the timer.
Slaughter
So sorry,
them.
everybody. Yeah.
That's
So
why
okay.
the king says to slaughter him because he's
Yeah.
a sinner.
Yeah. So help me out here. Help us out here. Do you think Jesus is peaceful and loving?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay. Why would a peaceful and loving guy use parables and examples of violence to get his point across?
Because people at the time didn't know how to it's like something that could happen, but not really happen, like the parable son. The prodigal son, when he left and spent all his money,
Right.
and his father came back, and he came back, and his father hugged him and stuff.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
how God is. You can turn
I
away
got
from
you.
God. When you decide to come back to God, He'll be there waiting and hold with His arms open,
Well,
waiting for you to come back.
Okay, well, here's kind of the problem, because why couldn't Jesus communicated that in any other way that was nonviolent and peaceful? If he's a peaceful guy, why did he have to use violent imagery to, convey what he was saying? Because this is what's the parable? Maybe I should ask that. What does the parable represent? What is Jesus saying here? So we can go back and read it, but what's he talking about here? Because you're right, it is a parable.
To pose a question where, like, if you're saying that Jesus had to use these painful parables to get
It's
his
like
point
when he-
across, how do we?
when he
I'm
told-
speaking.
Hold on. Turn to Jesus.
How do we know that the crucifixion scene and story isn't just a parable for the suffering of humanity? Like, how do we know that actually happened? How do you determine what in the Bible is a parable, what is metaphorical, what's allegorical, and what's true word for word?
Yeah. It's kind of a two-part question. So
they
answer in any order you want.
They were crucifying people back in Jesus' time.
Yeah, so people
Okay.
You didn't know
understood.
that?
People had an understanding for what
They had an
crucifixion
understanding.
means.
Yeah, exactly.
So they'd be able to relate that as a parable.
Yeah.
No, it
Are you picking up what
Jesus
she's putting
was
down?
alive.
Yeah, are you picking up
Huh?
what she's putting down? I'm definitely picking up what she's putting down. Are you picking up what she's putting down?
I don't think so, because
You don't think so?
It
Yeah,
happened.
okay.
Jesus existed. And
Okay.
then
Well, wait, hold on.
Bible also
Before you go, because you got to kind of understand this point that she's making. This is pretty important. So, Aaliyah, try it again. So lock here. Yeah,
I'll try it again.
yeah,
Okay.
lock in,
So
and
you're-
we'll listen carefully.
Okay, so Mr. Turn to Jesus person.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Jesus had to teach parables in order to get his point across, because
Yes.
people of that time only understood violence. What I'm saying is it not also possible then that Jesus's crucifixion story was just a parable to get a point across about humanity suffering?
No.
Why? How do you know
Jesus
that?
died
How do you
for
know?
all people to wash away their sins. Everybody commits sins, whether you steal, curse, have immoral sex,
I gotta let that one go.
anything, any of that
Yeah.
stuff. It's sin. Somehow you either pay for your own sin, or you got the guy who lived a perfect life for you, and have by his blood wash away your sins.
Okay.
You
I
either
don't.
turn to Jesus and accept Jesus, or you pay for your own sins.
Okay. I don't. Aaliyah, I don't think he was tracking. I don't think he.
No,
I don't
he's
think he
not.
understood.
And
Do you
I
want to
don't
try
know.
again, or do you want to? What do
So
you want
I
to do?
don't know how to explain it in a different way because
Yeah.
someone in the chat said that I only think that I'm smart, but that's a separate issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh, I can
I'm
vouch.
gonna let you try to explain that one to our
Yeah.
friend here.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
I don't claim you're stupid at all. I
I
don't.
never.
Oh, no, no,
I
no.
was. No. I wasn't talking about you at all, Mr.
No, it was somebody in the
TurntoJesus.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's somebody going meta in the chat, which is not cool. It's like, that's not really cool
Yeah,
because,
I know. I'm just saying.
well,
Anybody who's saying somebody's stupid, don't claim that. That's
yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
they think.
So I'm
that's
gonna
just
let
what they
Trust try
think.
to explain this metaphor to you.
I'll try
maybe
to
in a
I'll try to
different- I'm not
explain it.
using the right words.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to give like every opportunity. I thought I get it. I clearly understand it. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot. But hey, TurntoJesus, I'm glad, you're one of the rare Christians who do rebuke other Christians for their bad behavior. So I actually appreciate that, because the vast majority of Christians who come into my live, as either in the chat or on the guest panel, when there are people who are acting badly, other Christians who are behaving badly, they never rebuke them. And you're supposed to do that in the Bible, right? You'd agree with that, right?
Yes, you're supposed
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
rebuke.
You're supposed to rebuke
Listen,
bad
1 second.
behavior. Yeah.
If you turn to Jesus and you've repented and you do
Mhm.
and you're supposed to follow his commandments. If you
Yeah.
decide to follow Jesus and still do these bad things, you're sitting on the fence. You're choosing half God and half Jesus. Guess who owns the fence? Satan.
Satan owns the fence. So if you're sitting on the fence,
Yes.
ooh, hey, you know what, Aaliyah? That could be a potential Girls
That's gonna
Gone
be a
Gone
flavor.
episode. Yeah, it's gonna be a flavor. Sitting on the fence. Devil's sitting on the fence. There you go. Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
spicy one,
It's a spicy one. Yeah, sitting on the fence. Okay, I'm hearing you, TurntoJesus. Okay, back to this this understanding of parables. So I think what we're trying to understand is, how do you know that like this Luke 19 verse is a parable and that the crucifixion was real? Like, how did you determine that to be true?
First of all, it's talking about a parable on that Luke 19.
Right. But how did
and
you
Jesus talks about-
figure out that it didn't actually happen, that it's just a parable that Jesus is using versus the actual crucifixion, right? The crucifixion story. How do you know that's not a parable? Like, how did you figure that out? Take us through the steps in which you said, when I read this, it's not a parable, the crucifixion, but when I read Luke 19, it is a parable. Like, take us through your thought process.
You can read it and know it's a parable. When Jesus talks about the
Well, see, that's the thing.
crucifixion,
She and I don't know. That's why we're asking you. That's why we're asking for your help.
That, like, the Bible's a book like any other book, right? So
Mhm.
like there's some
No,
books that are true
it's
and
not
some
a book.
books.
It's written by witnesses.
Oh,
who
no,
was
but
there.
it's not actually
it's a
written
book.
by witnesses.
Yes, it is.
Though.
It's written by witnesses. It's not. They wrote it on scrolls with I guess like a feather thing with ink. That's the kind of pens they must have had. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
I think
they
that's
didn't
a
have
quill.
pens like
I
we
hear
have
you, but I
pens.
think
quill.
that's
Yeah, a
Yeah.
quill.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean,
They're written by witnesses. So
how else would they write? How else would they write without scrolls back
Without
then? So
scrolls,
yeah,
yeah.
they could write down a story on scrolls, like mythology.
yeah.
no, they found scrolls.
And they found
the
scrolls that
Dead
have
Sea Scrolls.
mythology on them.
There was a
Yeah.
kid with a sheep, went into a cave, and to scare the sheep, he threw a rock in there, and he heard the clay jars break, and when
that's the Dead
they
Sea Scrolls.
broke,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yes,
But that's not the
and
New
that's where
Testament. They didn't find the New Testament there. That's all Old Testament stuff. But how
well,
does that make
it's
it? How does that make it true though?
because that's witnesses and prophecies wrote this. Kings wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote the stuff in the Bible.
So you know the Bhagavad Gita, that's the holy book for Hinduism. That was written on scrolls too. So and then they discovered
I
those.
know.
So that's
saying
true. So the Bhagavad Gita is
They
true.
wrote on scrolls, but no witnesses, and that was written by some guy who just made stuff up. Just
Some
like
guy who made stuff
Mormon.
up. How do you know that?
Mormon.
How do you know the Hinduism was just made up?
There's only one God, one true God.
There's only one good true God.
Mormons think
But we're
that
trying to
we
well,
wait,
how do you
Mormons
hold on.
thinks that we
Okay.
are gods.
Gotcha. But how
And
do you
that-
know that there's only one true God? Like how do you know that?
Who else? How many gods do you think there is? There's only
Zero.
one true God.
I think there's none.
TurntoJesus, do you want to talk about Mormonism? Because we can go down that route.
Yes.
We could. Oh boy.
Because they think that we're going to become gods when we die.
How do you know that that's not true?
Yeah.
That's
How
not
do you know
true.
that everything that the Bible says is true, but that's not true?
Because it's backed up by scientists that found these places with sulfur from Sodom and Gomorrah. When he rained down sulfur to destroy the whole city, they found the Noah's Ark.
Which scientists found this? Which scientists?
Which scientist?
Yeah. Do you have a paper or a study?
His name is something White.
Oh, Ron Wyatt. You mean the guy who's
do you have a DOI number so I can look up the study?
Yeah, you know what a
No, I
DOI.
don't have a DOI number.
We don't know a DOI number, and you know Ron White is a known fraud, right? You know that.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
No,
he's a known
he's
fraud.
not.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's been
They
outed
say
as a
he's
fraud.
a fraud.
Yeah, he's been outed as a
They
fraud.
say
He's
he's a
confirmed
fraud
fraud.
because they don't want people to turn to Jesus and
Yeah.
to believe in God.
Okay, so
But he's
when we
not a known fraud.
gotcha. So when we have scientists who have confirmed things in the Bhagavad Gita, that's not true.
You don't see the stuff passing from Revelation happening now?
Well, hold on.
No.
Answer my question. Wait. Hang on. Answer. You totally glossed over my question. My question was, so the scientists who have found and discovered things that were in the Bhagavad Gita, so then that means that that's not true?
I don't know whatever.
Well, you don't have to
Gita
know.
is.
The Bhagavad Gita is the holy book of Hinduism. So
No.
I'm trying to understand why you're saying, well, this Ron Wyatt guy who people think is a fraud, and he's actually not a scientist. He's like I don't even know what he's not a scientist, but he's just a guy, right? And he made these claims. A lot of these claims turned out to not be true.
Okay.
But you're saying, oh, well, they're just trying to discredit him. Okay. Let's just say that's true. Let's just say that is. Now, we have scientists who have confirmed things in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hinduism holy book, but you're saying Hinduism was just made up by some guy. So
Yeah.
why
They
did this?
believe
But why did the
Jesus-
scientists verify things if it was just all made up?
I don't know why they verify it, but I guess
Well-
to turn away from God, the one true God.
To turn away from God?
That's
Well,
my-
why?
that's
Why
what
would they
I
do
think.
that? Why would they do that?
Because listen what happened to me. When you turn to Jesus, you receive the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
I decided one Tuesday I wanted to get a custom license plate, and I
Whoa.
wanted it to say Jesus.
Neck-breaking
maybe,
pivot.
Huh?
It
I
was just
wanted
a
to get a
neck-breaking pivot. We were talking about the Bhagavad Gita, and then we're talking about your
I'm
license
just-
plates.
Wait, listen. Just listen to my story, and you'll understand.
Okay.
I wanted to
I'm
get.
trying.
We're
I
trying
wanted to
hard.
get a plate that says Jesus, right? Even
Okay.
if it had numbers or whatever, because I know somebody has Jesus in this state. So I
Wait,
heard
who
this
has
was
Jesus? Somebody has Jesus?
on the plate.
Oh, on the
License
plate. Okay, my bad. Okay, I thought somebody
And then-
kidnapped Jesus or something, and
I
I
was
was
gonna
like,
say, is Jesus
What
being
the-
held hostage in
Yeah,
Mississippi or
well, let's go
something,
get
or
him.
Missouri?
yeah, let's go get him. Oh,
Oh, a jellyfish.
jellyfish turned to Jesus. But hey, the chat wants to move on to another one, but I appreciate you coming up. I really appreciate
Okay,
it. You've
that's
been very
cool.
kind. All right, have a
That's
good day.
cool.
Hey, Aaliyah, I was like,
Yeah.
when he said, somebody has Jesus, I was like, well, let's go.
Let's go get the guy.
Let's go
I feel
get
bad
him.
for him.
Exactly.
He's been nailed.
He's been nailed. Like, is he like in a
Let's go-
box or something? Yeah, let's
I
go
don't
free
know.
him.
Let's go get the guy. Let's give
Let's
him
go
a
get
snack.
him. Yeah, let's go get him. Yeah, bring him some carrots and
Some potato chips that I bought
and
at Whole
potato-
Foods with my palm.
Yes, with my palm. Yeah. See, we can stop at a Whole Foods, use our palms
On the way to
get,
pick up Jesus, who's
to
being
pick up
held
Jesus,
hostage
to get him
in
some
Jackson
snacks.
County, Missouri, where the Mormons are.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see. Even though we don't believe Jesus exists, if he were held hostage, we would still go get him. I mean,
I absolutely would go get him.
yeah, we're not barbarians. Come on now.
No, I'm a nice
not
person.
savages.
I've got better morals than God.
Yeah, exactly. So we would totally go save Jesus. I totally would.
I would,
like,
absolutely.
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Like I said, I'd bring him some chips, maybe some fresh clothes, some brand new sandals. I'd get Jesus some Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
And
I'd
a
bring him a
burger.
Red Bull. Yeah, I'd bring him a Red Bull. Because you imagine, get his
I mean,
his
he's been
energy up.
asleep for a while. So.
Thousands of years. Yeah. So he's gonna need a
Yeah.
pick me up. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sounds
See,
good.
we're good people. We are good people. So look. Listen. We're good people, okay? All right. Sorry, we went down the road of inside jokes. We went down that a little alley. So we're back. All right. We have Leah Caitlin. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just a couple of quick questions. Are you at least 18, and what pronouns do you prefer?
Yes, I am. And she, her.
Okay. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
I don't believe they're separate.
You don't believe they're
So,
separate? Okay. So which
I
one do you read?
wanted to come on, and the only reason
Wait,
is
hold
because
on. I just want to be sure that you read one of the, because I don't want to talk to any deists or anyone like that, like no New Age stuff. I just want to talk to people who either read the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. So which one of those do you read?
So I have read the Bible. I was raised Christian,
Okay.
but I also, for as long as I can remember, even being a little girl, would say, I love God, but sometimes I hate Christians.
Okay.
And the reason being is because of the shame, the judgment, the way that I mean, these are taught in the Bible to not judge, but at the same time, it's been, I feel like now at the age of 36 years old, I
Mhm.
now believe that all man-made religion is used to control people in some way.
I
So
gotcha. I'm with you on that. However, I do want to talk to people who believe in either the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. So I'm going to drop you down and I'm going to move on to a new guest. Okay. But I appreciate you coming up.
religion and not God. I'm trying
I'm
to
sorry.
share my evidence for God.
I understand,
not
but that's who I want to talk to. So, we have boundaries here, but I appreciate you coming up. So have a good day. All right. So yes, if you are in the guest queue, please be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. Please also be at least 18 and have evidence that God is real. So, yeah, not interested in talking to like deists or pantheists or any New Age, anything like that. Just don't really have the energy for it today. So yeah, please respect my boundaries. Okay. Next guest. All right. Let's go to my quest. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. So can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
44. He, him.
Okay. And then which God do you believe in?
Jesus.
All right.
God of the Bible.
Okay. What's your best evidence that God is real?
I think software is the best evidence, and so I'll try to go fast.
Okay. This is interesting because I worked with software for a long time, so this is going to be interesting. All right.
So I'll start with just like an illustration that we all can relate to, especially those of us who grew up with computers. We're all familiar with the difference of hardware versus software. Hardware is the glass, the metal, the all the components inside the plastic. To which you alluded to, given certain circumstances, these things could all come together on their own with magnetism or what have you. So, but the difference between hardware and software being, software is that programming. And so we've all had that computer that failed, and without someone go back in and reprogramming it so that it would connect to the Wi-Fi, so that it could use the internet, so it could do all of that stuff, it's just dead. There's nothing there. And so how I would transition this over to evidence is, I feel like DNA has made it pretty obvious that it is a software. And a good
How
example
so?
for that,
So?
it's the thing that takes life and gives it ability to think, even through evolution. For something to have the ability to think and solve problems and change and grow requires some kind of a thought. So for example, the chicken egg, all of us have eaten a chicken egg. If you have a fertilized chicken egg on day one, you crack it open and you eat it, it's just a yellow yolked egg. But you give it 21 days being fertilized with just a little more software, a little more programming, now you have a baby bird. How did it know how to do that? How did it know how to turn a yellow yolk into a baby bird?
Right, but I'm trying to understand how that demonstrates that this whole software DNA thing, like the link
I
here.
think I'm kind of approaching it from just what we're all familiar with, right? That we know, like, if the software disappears on my phone and I left my phone on the counter for a millennia,
okay,
I don't think my phone would ever learn how to be a calculator at minimum, or connect to Wi-Fi without some kind of interaction. It would just always be just a dead phone.
Sure, but I'm still trying to understand how this demonstrates that God is real. I'm not getting the leap here.
That why we could argue that the software could come together in I don't want to say naturally, because what would be a proper phrase for that when you were describing earlier? Because I know you're educated. So how you said in you have evidence of things coming together to be, right? I don't know in any evidence where we know software just shows up.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, of course.
Just shows up.
Well, because like software we know it is human made, right? We know humans make software. And I think we're we humans created it, right? And but what we have evidence of is that for example, evolution through natural selection and adaptation and abiogenesis is a result of processes, like natural processes. We know, or we have a very, very good understanding that, that these processes are like linked to like the laws of physics, right? So how did you determine that this wasn't the laws of physics and was something else? Like what method did you use to determine this?
That's a good question, because like right now we have genetically modified food. How do we genetically modify it? We go in and we alter the genes, which is the software that tells it how to build, how to change, how to grow.
Right, but software and DNA, that's in genes, that's just like a metaphor, to help like idiots like me understand it better, right? Yet, yeah, you can call it instructions. They've referred to it as code, but it's not like that in the realist sense. I mean, I've worked with software, I've written codes, I've written programs, and it does not behave like DNA in any way, shape, or form. They could not be any different.
So like the mRNA vaccine that we just created, I thought that was where a messenger that usually would come from DNA went to the ribosome, and and it printed out something for the T cells. I didn't follow that fully through, but to the point of that it was very software-like. It's very much gives instructions.
Well, in limited ways. It's in limited ways. It is so in limited ways, but it's not code. It's not a code of instructions. You don't use a computer to alter it, things like that. Like when they altered DNA, like when they altered genes, they did it in a laboratory, and they were using little syringes and things of that sort. They weren't typing in anything. So it doesn't, the metaphor is there. It's kind of like that, but it's not like that in any way, shape, or form.
So what about how another place I would have tried to said this would fit would be the fact that I look like my parents genetically, and that's why we have all these genetic.com whatevers where we can see what are my genes. Even what you guys were referring to earlier, saying that us and the apes have the similar genes. We know this because those genes are what produce our features, and we have bad genes. We we get disformities or mental handicap things, right?
Mhm.
So I guess I don't know. I was not under the impression or understanding that DNA being like a software was really a metaphor. It was a simple way to explain that it really is. That
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
incredibly intelligent. It's incredibly intelligent. It holds all of our. And if
Well,
my
it's not
body
intelligent
was,
either. Well, because intelligence means you have a mind, and DNA doesn't have a mind, right? So it's not intelligent. It's not,
Okay.
it doesn't have intent or
right. Okay.
Anything
Okay.
like that. It doesn't act with
Yeah.
intent. So it's just a metaphor. Like I said, to help idiots like me to understand it a little better. And
yeah, and me too, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, here's the other part of it. Like, see, because I've written software code for a long, long time. I wrote it for a long, long time. So, like, one of the things about that is, so here's one thing that does carry over in the metaphor, is that DNA has a lot of like garbage code in it, like things that should not be there, things that have and things, and we would use that. We would have that what's called spaghetti code, in which you would have just old, like if you looked at a program that's been like upgraded and changed and things like that, what a lot of programmers would do is they would remark out like sections of the code, and remark out means you would put like either like an asterisk or like maybe a slash, and then that tells the program, don't ignore these lines of code. And so we would remark. So what programmers would do is they would mark out like sections of code, and then they would just type in whatever they want, like as like an upgrade or like a workaround or something like that, right? To give it new features or whatever. And so what happens over time is that this is like a quick and dirty way to do it, right? As if you don't want to take the time to really edit it and make it look clean, you just throw in your code and then you're done. Well, what happens over time, if you do that too much, is you get this long lines of instruction code that has all of these remarked lines in it, that like stuff that doesn't belong there anymore. And we call that like spaghetti code, right? And see, what we have in DNA is we have a lot of stuff like that. Like, for example, there's DNA, there's things in our DNA that we have no use for, like wisdom teeth, for example. We have no use for wisdom teeth anymore, but it's a holdover from the old evolutionary days when our jaws were bigger and that we needed that extra molar to like crush down and bite on things.
Yeah,
so
right.
If you're saying that a God like wrote this program, this DNA program, why would God, because see, remarking out old code and leaving it in there, it's not a good practice. It doesn't follow best practices. So why would a perfect God not follow best practices?
I'd also like to
go ahead, sorry.
mention something here that just kind of came to mind.
Tonsils,
is
yeah.
that tonsils are terrible. Is if we have, if we're intelligently designed by this God and we have evidence for evolution, like Tress just mentioned with the wisdom teeth, does that mean that God did not make the best perfect versions of us, or did he make a mistake?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, and that that the software has had to refine over the years, to use your metaphor, over thousands and thousands of years. So did God not do his best when he made us, or did he change his mind about what's best for
they're
us
bugs.
as humans?
Mm-hmm.
The way I understand the Bible story, where like Noah's flood and all that, he did, in my interpretation of that would be that he modified our ability, how long we would live, and all of those things, because humanity got stuck in its own ways, but of selfishness and greed and all the things that we wrestle with. So he put some limitations, and with like wisdom teeth or whatever, I think it's we all kind of agree that even now we see humans who have a diet where they chew hard on things, their palate is wider, they breathe better, they don't snore, their wisdom teeth come in and it's not a problem. And so we've had some softening, if you will, in the way that we process everything, that I think agreeably most of us think, whether it's talking processed food or just the comfort of our lifestyles, is not really healthier for us. It's better if we go run and jump and play than sit on a couch all day. So I don't know. I would be guessing if I was trying to cross the line of like why our bodies are imperfect or broken, when we kind of our behavior messes with that. Yeah.
Well, here's another
Okay,
piece
what
to
about the
that.
things that have nothing to do with behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like there's genetic conditions that are terrible. Trust brings up Les9 syndrome.
And Edward syndrome,
That's a DNA thing that has nothing to do with behavior.
Not to I don't know about that one, to not to shift gears on you, but to go back to if these are genetic things, if the genetic isn't really responsible for our programming, and programming is a poor metaphor, why is DNA so important though to be correct?
Well,
if it's not a
just to kind of clarify what you're saying, I don't mean to cut in, but it's not exactly it's a limited metaphor. I think that's a better way to put it. Like
Okay.
it's just to help us understand. Yeah, because DNA does give instructions, right? Like code. It does do it like code, but it's not code in that sense. Like it's not computer code. Because the other thing about it is that, like for example, with computer code, you do have to do other things to fit it with the machine that you're coding it to, right? Like there's got to be a certain amount of memory. It's got to have the right amount of hardware. It's got to, it's got to have the right kind of hardware. There's just all these other factors that go into it. And so the other thing is that when you run software, right? And if your code is correct, it will run the right way, like almost every time, right? It doesn't. So we don't see like in all these differences in other pieces. Like if the machines are all made the same way, we don't see any differences in them. And maybe we'll see like if the machines aren't perfect, aren't done, like if there's flaws in the machinery, like in the computer, like if there's slight flaws in like the hard drive or like the BIOS chip or something like that, then the code won't run optimally, right? You'll have things like memory leaks and stuff like that. So I think kind of what Aaliyah's alluding to is like we have DNA, like the software is causing problems in the hardware. And see, that doesn't translate over to like computer code.
Okay.
The computer code doesn't cause the hardware to malfunction. It doesn't work that way. If anything, if there's a malfunction, it's because the hardware, it's like an incompatibility with the hardware, or if the hardware is like flawed somehow. It has some type of damage or something like that. But what Leah's alluding to is that the DNA actually causes the hardware to fail and malfunction.
Yeah. And
So
then how can we have a perfect God if he's allowing
exactly.
problems like this?
Yeah. Why would a perfect God have these problems like that?
So I don't know where to separate, because I was trying to stick to honor your guests and stuff, to stay with the atheist evidence of evolution, where I feel like that's more of a theology question.
Well, my question is, what's your best evidence God is real, right? So it doesn't matter if it's evolution or what. Like, what for you? What's the best evidence for you that tells you God is real?
Yeah. All right, I'll try to wrap up the DNA thing, and then I'll shift over to more theological question.
Sure.
So if I use the egg again as an illustration too, because you're invalidating that DNA used this way, it reveals that there is a creator, somebody who is behind the scenes.
Yeah, because if it were, and here's the other part of it, if it were, then, biologists would be like, yeah, there's a God. God's real.
Yeah.
But we don't see that. And so then you have to ask yourself, well, why aren't like scientists seeing this,
Yeah, well,
You see what I mean?
honestly, that's been my question. I've been thinking, like, it feels like it's right in front of our noses, kind of. But if I had a lizard egg, I'll say in reptiles, because they're similar.
Okay.
And we wanted to change a lizard egg to make it be, instead of a lizard, a turtle. Is the thing that we would most likely need to change in there not the DNA? Is there?
If we wanted to change a turtle to like a lizard, like a lizard egg, and we wanted to make it a turtle.
Yeah.
Well,
wouldn't DNA be the thing we would change?
Well, you'd need a lot more than that. I mean, yeah.
But like, even if it was, how does that prove God is real?
Right.
I think just because our experience has been, I don't know where DNA just shows up. You alluded to earlier that we know that matter can just come into an existence just because of certain fields of energy.
Yeah.
But where have we seen like a type of logic or a type of software just show up?
Okay, type of lava or type of just software just show up? Well, it didn't just show up. It actually developed over hundreds of millions of years. And so what we have evidence for is that we have evidence from non-life to life. And I think that's kind of what you're getting to.
Yeah.
Like millions and millions of years. It took many, many, many years for this to happen. And but what we have evidence for is that non-life, life came from non-life. That and scientists have been able to reconstruct this and recreate this in laboratory conditions to a certain point. It's kind of like this. Here's another analogy, and it's a limited analogy again. Okay, so I'm not saying this is directly applies, but in a way it does. But it's kind of like when we discovered flight with the Wright brothers. There were actually, I don't know if you know this, but there were actually competing people who were trying to make the first airplane, like discover flight, right? It wasn't just the Wright brothers. It was multiple people trying to do this, multiple groups of people. And they all had the components and pieces, and they had the mechanisms, and they had the physics down and all that. So they knew like conceptually how it would work, but it took like the Wright brothers years to finally achieve flight. And they had to do lots of experiments, lots of broken planes and, lots of attempts before they finally got it. And they just had to tweak things here and there. And so, so my point is that they had all the pieces in place for years before they could actually make it happen. And see, this is the part where we're at with abiogenesis. The scientists know the concept. They know the mechanisms. They have all the pieces in place. It's just that, and they're getting closer and closer to making a cell from non-life components. They're getting so close. Like, but see, the thing is it's probably going to take them many, many decades to get to that point. Even though they're that close, but they've come a long way since 1952, the Mille-Urey experiment. That's when it all first started, but they've been doing stuff all from 1952 up till today, till now. There was an experiment there was a paper that was published that I read about. It's in my Discord, everybody, if you all want to check it out. It's from Juan Perez Marcader's team. Talks about, making protocells, that they were able to create protocells. And those are like the precursors to actual cells, like to life. So they're like right on the doorstep, but they're going like it's, there's still a ways to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I said, just like the Wright brothers, they have all the components in place. They know the concepts. They know the steps. It's just a matter of executing now. That's all.
We reached the gift goal for.
We reached the gift goal. Okay. So anyway, go ahead and take over. And then Aaliyah, I'll let you drive while I set up the kick pole. All right. Working on it, guys. So go ahead, guest.
Okay.
What would you like to say?
So I guess the only part about the evolution solidly that would be confusing, and then I'll get off this subject, would be like a baby deer is born without scent. And you can have a predator standing right on top of it as a newborn after that bloody thing. And
holds on.
It seems like it would be interesting how that could happen backwards. Like, how did a baby deer who smelled funny and were obvious and would get eaten immediately, how did that ever, that could be an interesting conversation. How would you ever get a non-scented baby deer since everything got eaten because it was scented?
Great question.
For it to know that it needed to be scentless, it had to survive, and then that body would have had to have the pressure of being eaten. It just is a long-winded, and I would point back to, I think, because there's a intelligent design.
It's evolution. It's epigenetics.
Epigenetics, selection pressure. That's another piece to it. There's this concept called selection pressure and evolution, and I have a great resource for you because you're asking really, really good questions. But I have a great resource for you. His name is Forrest Valkai. Have you heard of him?
No.
Okay. His last name is Valkai, but Forrest Valkai. If you search for him on YouTube and on TikTok, you'll find him. And he's a biologist, and he educates people on evolution and all this stuff that you're asking about, and he can explain this very, very well. Like I got the term selection pressure from him, actually. And then the epigenetics, I've heard him mention that too. But yeah, he this is his job. Like this is what he does every day for a living. So, but he has
And
lots
you know
of
what,
videos on it.
actually,
Yeah, go ahead, Aaliyah.
the epigenetics thing makes me believe in God even less now that I think about it right now, because as Black people living in America, we have an increased rates of like high blood pressure and other heart diseases and stuff because we are the ancestors of enslaved people and the trauma and the stress that puts on your body. So if there is a God, why would he allow that to be part of the software when I am suffering from a health condition because of the generations before me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, isn't that the same thing as like punishing the grandchildren, the great grandchildren for the sins of the father? But
Right.
these aren't even sins; these are just things that happen to us,
Right.
So
Exactly.
why is that part of the software?
Yeah. So 10 things you want to think about. But hey, my quest, I appreciate you being polite and cordial, and this was a good conversation, but they have decided to move on. So I'm going to let you go.
Theologically, can I have a brief on why God allows suffering?
Well, how about this? How about you follow me and then come back another day? And cause I'm on here like this time, like almost every day. So come back another day so that, cause I want to honor what the chat voted for. So, but you know, you're more than welcome back. Cause you've been very polite and friendly. So I appreciate that. All right. Have a good day. So, and on top of that, I got to go. So, Aaliyah, it's so fun to have you
And so
up.
do
I know
I,
this,
so it works
but
out.
this isn't the
anytime.
official. This isn't the official one.
No, it's not the official one. We're going to do the official one. We're going to make a graphic. It's going to be great.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to get you to be feistier than normal trust, like
Oh.
jalapeno trust off the bat.
Ooh,
That's my goal.
jalapeno trust off the bat. Oh my goodness. Am I like wax pepper trust? Is this where I'm at? Maybe bell pepper trust?
Well, no, I think doesn't Ember describe you as poblano, or a green pepper or something?
Yeah, she said it sometimes get to a poblano, but as of late, we actually went to ghost pepper as of late, so I can do jalapeno trust.
Okay, well, I want to just start off rip with jalapeno
excuse
trust
us,
and then
they
get you up to ghost pepper.
Damn it. Jar.
Oh,
God
what did
damn
I
it.
say? Did you do it or did
I think it was it was me.
Was it me or was it you?
No,
it was
me.
do it.
God damn it. Yeah, it was me. All right, I'll throw money in the jar. I promise.
All right. It's been fantastic as usual. I got to make
It
dinner and
has.
pretend to be an adult.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Yeah. But it's awesome. Yes, we will do that very soon. But thanks for co-hosting with me on the fly.
Of course, anytime.
Always welcome. All right. See you.
Absolutely.
See you, Brent.
All right.
Okay. So
Bye.
that was bye. So that was fun. We got to I know you guys are having fun with this jar thing. Change it to 0 day. Exactly. See, I'm gonna have to make that Yes, exactly. I'm gonna have that video day one of me not putting in the jar. Day one of me not putting in the jar. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got the calendar, and it is big enough for me to put a spot that says how many days it's been.
You got to post that in the disc. You got to post that in the Discord. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of every live or when it happens, I'll just bring up my camera and be like, down to 0.
Down to 0.
Erase the number.
I know, right? Damn it. Oh my God.
You're working on it. You're working
this
on
is
it.
so
You're
tough.
working on it publicly.
I am.
It's great.
I am. But this is so tough. I don't fucking get why. I don't get it.
I understand. Look, I even as a trans person go through periods where like the colonization shit hits harder than other days, and I misgender myself sometimes. I misgender like other people that I never misgender. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it just sometimes kind of seeps into the brain and you're not even trying. So
yeah, it just
he accidentally misgendered me. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. And so every time I do that, I got to contribute to the jar. So I don't have time to do it right this second, but I will. Oh, wait, I have money right here. Oh yeah. Forgot about that. Okay. I got a 5 ski this time, so I'm just gonna throw it in there. And
ooh, okay,
so,
okay.
5 ski, yeah. I forgot I had a little cash. Yep. So 5 ski for that one. Yep. There's the 5 ski. So like I said, when this gets full, it's going to go to charity. So what I'm hoping is that it takes a long fucking time to fill this up, because that means I will be learning, right? But so that's like an indicator. Yeah. But if I do that, if I fill it up by like next week, then that's not good. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But then on the other side, I want to fill it up because it'll go to charity. It's for a good cause. So, you know, kind of torn.
Yeah, it's like it's multifaceted.
Yeah, it's multifaceted. You know what it's like?
If you fill it up by next week,
Yeah.
you and I are having a conversation.
You're gonna have words for me, exactly. And I fully expect it. I fully expect it. Like I expect to be called into the office. Like, yeah, you're gonna be like, Trust, can you come to my office, please? I'm like, ah, shit. I gotta go to their office. Yeah.
Right. I can't decide if that's a good idea or not a good idea, 3 pips. If you really want to be motivated, pick a GOP quote unquote charity, so that like you don't want to put money in there because you are going to be giving to just, yeah, exactly. So then you're like, oh,
that's painful.
That's really painful.
Oh, that's painful. You know, it's like eliciting a little bit of shame now, because if I do pick a GOP charity and then I know it's going to go to that, and then I misgender you or say something out of pocket again, it's going to be so painful. Yeah, it's going to be so
like
painful.
Absolutely painful just to drop the coin in there.
Drop the coin in there. Yeah. See, I mean, it's, you know, it's painful, but it's not so bad, because I'm thinking, yeah, I was going to send it to like, you know, like an LGBTQIA cause. But yeah, if it's going to go to like the Republican Party, oh my God, that's like my worst nightmare. You know? Wow.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah. You know what? Maybe, you know what I'll do? Tomorrow, we'll have chat vote on it. So if you guys want to vote on where we're going to send this, and you can make some suggestions. This is what I'm going to have you do. So to make a suggestion, you're going to have to join my Discord, and we'll create a thread. We'll create a thread somewhere. We'll create a thread, and we'll take a poll. And so if you want to vote on where we send this, then we'll do that. And I don't know, should we do it like the top 2 and then we'll vote in chat, or like we'll take a vote both on YouTube and TikTok? So like we'll have like the primaries in Discord and then take like the top 2 or 3 responses, or should we just, I think that's probably, let's just do that. Yeah. So if you want to vote in the primary, you have to join the Discord. Yes. It's Donald Trump. Oh my gosh. That's just so painful.
Oh,
but
that would
isn't it
just, that would be,
that would suck. That would just suck so bad. Yeah.
Mhm.
That would okay. I think that might be it. Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. So join the Discord. I have a link in my profile.
Yes.
I have a link tree. Yeah. So just the link is there, but what you have to do is you have to copy and paste outside of TikTok. You have to copy and paste it into a browser. I wouldn't donate it to either political party. See, I'm with you, Mary Jane. However, I'm trying to make this as painful as possible so I get out of this patriarchal thinking. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's what we're trying to do.
Gary's here.
Who's Gary?
Darth Dawkins.
Oh, really? Oh, goodness.
Yes. Gary?
Goodness.
I say it like Derek
Interesting.
from The Good Place. Gary?
See, like, I didn't know that was his first name. Interesting. I learned something new.
Yeah, he hates it when we use it, but it's fine.
Oh, I see. Interesting. So, well, no, I'm about to dip CCAPs. So just come back another day. But you know what? I think does that mean like I'm on radar here?
I think you've made it, Trust. I think you've reached the pinnacle to be on Darth Dawkins' radar.
Interesting.
Well, either pinnacle or the opposite.
I guess.
Either one.
I guess. I guess. I don't know. So everybody, these are the mods. These are our community mods, and they're awesome mods. They're beautiful mods. They're fantastic mods. I'm listening a little bit of Donald Trump language. They're big, beautiful mods. So let's give them gifts, some W's, some follows, all that stuff. And then let's recognize the big beautiful mods on the YouTube side. Blaster Master 80, Pseudo V Science, I think Rainbow Ash was in there earlier. So yes, BPM, no. They're fantastic mods. So BPMs. So yes, it's just my gratitude for them, because they really do keep me in line. As you know, we've got the jar, they keep peace in the chat, you know, so they do all kinds of fantastic things for this community. So love you guys. So last thing, who are we gonna raid today? Who do we got? Who's on? Thursdays is usually a light day. Oh, Dr. Blitz is in my FYP. Very cool.
Volsi is on.
Volsi. Let's do Volsi. Let's do Volsi. Yeah. So let's go raid Volsi. And so VOLCY. And the good news is Volsi is on YouTube as well. So VOLCY, just put that in your search bar after you get out of here. And then we're just going to raid Volsi and just say TBV raid. So let's do it. Volsi's pretty awesome. I got to have Volsi on again, or I got to go on Volsi's live sometime.
Yeah, either way, you guys got to co-host.
We got to co-host again. That was fun. Yeah, I got to do that with Volsi again. So, okay. But in the meantime, let's go raid Volsi and do TBV raid in the chat. And be mindful of their chat rules, like no all caps or nothing like that. But let's just go in, show them some love. And tomorrow, I will be on here tomorrow. Now, remember, we're raiding Storms live tomorrow because of the Mad Libs fundraiser. So just be aware of that. That's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time that we're going to raid Storms chat. So, or Storms live, excuse me. So if you weren't here earlier, just follow Madam Storm. That's on TikTok. And then you'll get the details of what the fundraiser is, what it's for, and all that stuff. But it's going to be fun. They're going to do Mad Libs. So if anything, all we need to do is just go out and support and just show a lot of love. And, you know, invite our friends, people from our friends list, because, you know, getting the numbers up, that's going to help with the donations as well. So if you don't have any scratch, that's okay. We can support. All right. I think that's all I got today. So thank you, everybody. This was fun, and we'll do it again tomorrow. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. We'll see you in Volsi's. Take care. Bye.
Bye.